I'm back. Everybody miss me? My schedule's so messed up right now where Mariah's been in and out. I don't know. My schedule's messed up. Oh shit, where's my... I'll be right back.
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away. We feel betrayed.
Mr. Global seems to be a pretty reliable source, even though he owns an oil business, so usually those people are all about lying for profit. It doesn't affect him that much if he tells the truth, so he seems to be pretty good about it.
Because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house.
I don't expect to get the truth from Exxon, but a guy who owns like a small business and his buyers are not TikTok viewers, right? He's selling it to other companies. I think that he's done a pretty good job.
Burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
I got blocked yesterday by, you remember that guy I used to talk about all the time? The Facebook guy, there's like an old, he's ran for office a couple times, but he's like super Trump supporter. It was the 5th time I told him one of his posts is a lie. And I was like, you guys will really believe anything. I already saw you deleted the other 4 I commented on saying this isn't true. And he left a comment, but thought better and banned me before I could read it. Imagine calling school teachers groomers because there are books in the library that talk about developing adults and then supporting the Tate brothers. The Tate brothers being in the United States. They literally ran a school on how to sex traffic. It was called a PhD, his pimping hose degree. That was the name of his masterclass. People were like, there's no evidence they were sex trafficking. He ran a course that you paid to get into a master class that he called the pimping hose degree, where he talked about lying about how much they make, how to steal money from them, how to lie about taxes, how to avoid paying taxes, how to keep them from going back home. That keeping them from going back home is a big deal. Like having a head bitch that encourages them and tells them to stick around, and even to like threaten violence when they start talking about leaving. Like he was a human trafficker and he taught other people how to do it. People were like, I don't know. Jesus Christ. All right.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. How's it going? Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate you guys being here. I have a weird question that I want to ask chat. I haven't had time to study this. So first of all, Mariah's pap, her grandpa, is currently fine. He had a stent put in last night in the evening, and then they were talking about doing heart surgery this morning, but he's still kind of weak. He's 82 years old, so he's still kind of weak. So now the debate going back and forth is if the stent is doing really well and doing its job, because he's got quite a bit of blockage. But if the stent is doing well and they think he'll get stronger from just the stent, they might send him home for a week or two and have him come back for open heart surgery. If the stent isn't doing well or not doing enough, like there shouldn't be anything wrong with the stent. It was a good placement and all that. But if it isn't doing enough to help with the blockage, then he'll probably have surgery on Monday. And they're still going back and forth. They don't know what they're going to do. And Monday probably means more like Tuesday because like the heart doctors, the people that make their rounds or whatever, unless it's emergency, they're not there on the weekends anyway. So really it probably means they'll come see him on Monday, maybe set him up for like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then you guys know how that does. You have to stop eating at a certain time and get in there. And then sometimes they forget to come and get you. I think all hospitals just kind of suck on that. But he's kind of aggravated because he wants to go home. Mariah's aggravated because she's trying to sleep in a chair in the hospital and stay with him. So it's just been a lot. But he's okay. Said he was, he's moving around by himself or whatever, and they were talking and hung out. So he's all right. Everybody's kind of on edge with it, but I can't really blame him. Either way, thank you guys for joining us. Oh, we had, so you guys remember a couple of, maybe a week ago, I think it was on a Tuesday, I told you that I had to be up early in the morning to go speak to a charity on behalf of the campground. Well, that charity approved some funding. So it's not direct funding, like they're not just going to give us cash. They're actually told us to make a list of a bunch of materials that we need to help rebuild the bathrooms in the office and blah, blah, blah. And they just meet us at Lowe's and buy it for us up to a certain amount. So that's good. But now I got to make a list this week of a bunch of materials and shit. So basically, our office used to be like just the office. It has an apartment upstairs, but that's too high, didn't get damaged. So the office is gone. There was 2 bathrooms right there. We also had a bath house that just had like rows of like bathrooms and showers, but that's gone. So the office has just 2 full baths. We want to go back with those 2 full baths and put 2 half baths and 2 kind of outdoor showers you can rinse off and get the sand off before you go into a shower. That way it doesn't end up in our septic tank, and then we won't need the bathhouse anymore. So we'll see how that works out. That's the plan, at least. Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff going on. I guess the first thing I should address, I'm going to ask you a question. You can think about it during the show. So I haven't had time to look into this. Have you guys ever seen like debate bros, like people who just debate? I don't talk to those people a whole lot. It's just out of my realm. I guess if I had enough time to study, I would. But typically, when they start a debate, they'll be like, someone will say like, I think the Trump inciting an insurrection was bad. And they're like, okay, what is your definition for inciting? What is your definition for insurrection? Are you sure that like they want definitions like nailed down for everything? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you in a fallacy, right? So to win a debate, your morals kind of have to logically flow no matter the situation, right? So you might hear questions like, if you're talking about abortion, when people say, would you save a live baby? Or would you save a tray full of 100 fertilized embryos? And they'll say, oh, well, I would save a live baby. And if they're pro-life, that is fallacy, right? Because they think that a fertilized embryo is the same as a baby. So if you could only save one, then you would have to save the tray of but that doesn't fit in most people's heads. But anyways, they circle around to catch you in a fallacy. And I was watching this guy I like on TikTok, and he's not a debate bro. He's more like a, hey, let's talk about this, and I'll give you my point of view, and you give me your point of view, and we'll go from there. It doesn't typically get very heated. It's not nailed down on semantics. And he won't make you like nail down a position, either yes or no. Some people will be like, I don't know, maybe. And that's fine with him because he's not a debate bro. The paleo Christian on TikTok or on Twitter, who is Andrew Wilson, is 1,000% a debate bro. Like you've probably seen him debate Destiny and other people if you watch debates. So Andrew Wilson comes in, and the topic of this guy on TikTok is basically like, I think Trump's bad, right? Let me know your thoughts. But Andrew Wilson comes in with this debate bro tactic, and he's trying to get him. He's like, well, what's he's trying to get him on all these definitions. He's like, what's an insurrection? And he kind of gives him a roundabout definition of insurrection. He says, well, then what's a rebellion? And he says, well, those things are pretty similar, right? A rebellion and insurrection are pretty similar. And that's where he kind of messed up, I think. I think the answer is to have a distinction between rebellion and insurrection because they're not the same. Exactly. They're slightly different. But anyways, after that conversation loops around, and he's like, and you think what Trump did was bad. Why? And the guy that I like on TikTok, I can't remember his name, or I would be using his name. I can look it up, though. Is like, well, Trump lied to start an insurrection, right? So Trump lied about the election being stolen. And Andrew's like, okay, so if you lie to start a rebellion or insurrection, that's wrong, correct? And he's like, yeah, I think so. Again, not really nailing down as much stuff as he should, but he's like, yeah, I think so. So then Andrew takes a conversation to the Revolutionary War, right? So our founding fathers started an insurrection or rebellion or whatever you want to call it. And then he's like, well, you know that they lied to start the U.S. rebellion against the king. And he's kind of got him in a losing position now, right? Because if lies are what makes Trump's insurrection bad, our founding fathers, this is just a fact, right? Our founding fathers lied, and they to the people. They over-exaggerated things because they needed the people to be ready to fight a war. They needed people on their side. They didn't need people like wavering. So they exaggerated. They lied in some cases to the people of the United States to kick off the revolution, basically. So then he's kind of got him stuck, though, right? So if I'm asking, I wonder what the way out of this argument is. If you concede that an insurrection and a rebellion are very similar, and not distinctly different, right? Like, well, insurrection is this and a rebellion is this. And even then, it's kind of like you're making the argument that the winner gets to decide what's right or not. So, like, we would think of, like, a rebellion maybe as a good thing because the rebels won and we started America. We would think of an insurrection as a bad thing because the insurrectionists lost. But that's not a good argument, right? It can't just be that the winners are right. Because if you make that argument, then if Trump and his friends would have overthrown the election, you would have to argue that that was good or right or moral. But he's kind of got him in this spot now where if he doesn't want to, he finally has to end up admitting, like, I don't know much about the American Revolution, even though he already conceded all these steps. So what a debate bro does is they'll lead you down this checklist. So they'll be like, what is your definition of this? Okay, if that's your definition of this, what is the definition of that? Check. Well, what do you think about this? Check. So you would say if someone does X, that morally that's wrong or bad or whatever. Check. What if someone does Y? Check. So you would say that anytime anybody does X or Y, that's wrong. Check. Well, what about these people that do X and Y? And it's usually something that you think about in your head being good. Now you've got these two competing ideas, right? Thing A is good, thing B is bad, but they have some of the underlying details. So now you have to go back to the original argument. If it's not because if insurrection wasn't bad because lies, then why was insurrection bad? I mean, you could say like manipulation, but you could argue that the revolution had manipulation in it because of lies. So I guess that's just something to think about. I don't expect anybody to type something out that's like fucking 4 paragraphs. It's like, this is why, blah, blah, blah. Just something to think about, especially if you ever hop into a debate stream with that, like a debate bro. Again, there are people that you can just go argue with, right? Or that you can just talk with. But I'm talking about like actual, I'll show you, hold on. Actual debate bros. Destiny's really good at it, at setting up logical arguments. It's I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I know it doesn't make sense to most people because most people would be like, I'll just say this one's bad and that one's good. But your logic has to track all the way across. It's not. Let's see. This is Andrew Wilson here. I want to kind of find one that... Well, here's one with Destiny. Exposes Jubilee debaters for cheating, tells Destiny on stream. I don't know what this is, but we can see if he debates here.
Well, I think we got a lot of that cleared up then. A couple of questions I have for you since we're in the room. The first one is, what did you think of the Jubilee thing?
It was, it's what I'm used to at this point. It's kind of wild, kind of wacky.
So this probably isn't going to be a debate.
Am I wrong or was it bizarre? It was strange.
I mean, I feel like at this point I'm kind of used to crazy, wacky people, but it was pretty.
Oh, what is this one?
The two things.
I don't mind watching that clip, but that's just not going to be a debate. I want you to see how. Let's say you debate that. Let's say the debate topic is that eggs are healthy. The first thing I would say is like, what are we talking about eggs? You mean chicken eggs? You mean duck eggs? You mean, like, I'm going to make you define eggs. Then I'm going to say healthy. What do you mean by healthy? Like they make us healthy? There's an unlimited amount that we can consume and still be healthy. So there's no limit, like what about cholesterol? Eggs seem to raise cholesterol. What would you consider good cholesterol, bad cholesterol? And then I'm going to apply that to something else. And if your X equals X, Y equals Y, Z equals Z doesn't also apply to this other topic, then you have a fallacy and you can't win the debate, I guess. Well, the revolution included civilians, right? Everybody was a civilian.
That's kind of my domain. That's kind of the purview of what that is. But each individual case for each individual person is somewhat different because...
Andrew Wilson tries to make an argument that on the other side, that the only way to justify anything is power. So if you have the power to do something and you do it and succeed, it must be justified. Which I don't agree with his argument either. That's the argument he makes secular, right? He actually makes a different argument that God commands us to do these things and we should follow God's lead and blah, blah, blah. But if he takes religion out of it, his secular argument is he says the only argument you can make is that might makes right, basically.
Because Christianity exists in what's called pluralism. So, like, let me give you an example. If you lived in Japan, the way that you would honor your mother and father would be different than the way you lived in the United States, right? You would have to honor them differently based on the cultural customs. Yeah, you'd have, so that's what pluralism would be. You still have to honor them in Christianity. However, based on the cultural dynamics that you're in, there could be multiple ways to honor them, which would still fit inside of the dimension of you adhering to the principle. That would be Christian ethics.
Okay. And what are the ethics of remarrying women that were married before?
Well, what do you
Is it
mean?
gonna be good?
Oh, I mean, say a woman was married
I think his wife was married before, I guess.
to a man, then she was divorced, she was married to another man, then divorced, then she remarried again. What are the Christian ethics of that?
Yeah, so what the doc
So they heavily exaggerated some of like the like British actions as like a country, plus like what troops did. Like there would be a scuffle between troops, and then it was kind of like the telephone game. By the time it got to you, these British troops just murdered 15 men in cold blood, kind of deal.
doctrine says is that there's good reasons for divorce, and this is outlined by Paul, and this is also outlined by Jesus Christ himself. And then Paul really gave the full outline. So things like addiction, abandonment, things like this are completely reasonable.
We can actually see this and compare it to people's personal notes in the Declaration of Independence. They clearly emphasize certain points that they know would have a mass audience versus their own grievances that they actually felt were bigger, but maybe not applied to as many people.
Terms for divorce or extensive physical abuse, those would be fair terms for divorce under church doctrine and ecclesiastical authority.
Okay. And this is a situation that you have dealt with and your father has dealt with. I've watched the videos about you when you talked about how your father had multiple wives, and you're of the same, just like him, had multiple wives too, correct?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so you took vows and you broke them. Is that very Christian
No,
of you?
I didn't break any vows.
Oh, no?
You have two people who exist. For one thing, this is I would say this is outside the purview of the debate.
Well, I don't
but
think so. We both agreed how a man lives his life.
Gary, I'm willing to engage. Gary, calm down. I'm willing to engage with it.
One at a time. Yeah, we'll have to go to time rounds here.
Calm down. Are you saying that a divorce under grounds of abandonment or addiction?
So again, he's trying to get back to this guy's. I'm just trying to show. I don't care about the topic. I'm just trying to show you. He's like so. Divorce is bad. What about abandonment? What about addiction? What about cheating, right? You're saying none of these divorces can ever happen for any reason?
And things like this, that those are not within the Christian purview of Christian ethics?
Well, I would say that, when people make those statements, sometimes they lie. Christians have a habit of lying, as you know, in their last debate. So,
okay.
I don't know. So over 82 says, my husband is a disabled Vietnam vet. I pray Trump doesn't mess with our benefits. It depends on what you mean by benefits. If it's like retirement, disability, stuff like that, I think it'll be harder to get health care. I think it'll be harder to get a hold of the VA. I think if something goes wrong, it'll be harder. I think it's wrong. So we just had the PACT Act, which should have been in place years ago, from breathing toxic fumes overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're now giving treatment for that, as well as benefits like disability and stuff for that. And of course, if we're gonna tackle this whole group of people that have been waiting years for this to be approved, some of them already died of lung cancer. Other ones doing shit, are doing shitty, need treatment. If we're gonna deny these people for years and then finally say, okay, well, you guys can get treatment for this, of course we're gonna need more people there. And to fire 80,000 people, a quarter of them veterans, just seems wild to me. Like under the last 2 years, the VA saw some of its highest approval ratings, and wait times have been some of the lowest, basically since the war on terror happened, right? Because we did this huge buildup. We have all these people, National Guard, regular Army, everybody, right? Going overseas for fucking 20 years, they're going to come back all fucked up. That's why we sent them over there. We know they're going to come back all fucked up. So it was basically the best it had been since we started getting all these veterans back from Iraq and Afghanistan, as far as like wait times and satisfaction and shit. But it seems like Doja's motto is not, most people would say if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's like their motto is, I think Stephen Colbert said, if it's not broke, Doge will break it, or some shit like that, right? Give us a chance, we'll break it. Like it's I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I'm sorry. If you're claiming I'm lying, that's fine. I just would like the proof.
Well, I mean, you're taking care of another man's kids, aren't you?
And the proof that I've done anything wrong is?
Well, the proof is that you took an oath to a wife, and basically you broke that vow.
No,
and now you're with a different woman.
First of all, I was a secularist, essentially. I had a courthouse wedding. That's one. And two, I won't even get into all the details. They're not even important. But the thing is like, Gary, it was completely appropriate to have such a divorce. One. And two, same thing with my wife. She was abandoned. Like, what do you want? By the way, it would be the most Christian, as far as Christian ethics, it's the most Christian thing to do, to take care of the people who are around you. Like, why would, for instance, like, if your brother died or something like this, wouldn't you take care of his kids?
That's a false narrative. No one died.
Wouldn't you take care of his kids?
What happened is another man left your wife, and now you're taking care of him. So is that what you're telling me?
What's immoral about that?
Is that what a good Christian is?
What's immoral about that?
Hold on.
I'm asking.
He said that's what a good Christian is. Yeah, I would think so. Like, whether they're your kids or not, somebody would step in and take care of those kids. Yes.
Good Christian values.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely, there's Christian values.
So
like, what's wrong with that?
Another man's kid. Simping is Christian values in your book.
Guys.
Yes, taking care of people's kids, especially if they don't have a father.
You heard it here, folks. Guys, we've deviated from the Jesus Christ discussion with the Virgin Mary. Do you guys want to move on to ethics now?
This is ethics. No, this is what do people stand behind what they believe in.
I'm fine with this, Myron. He can continue the inquiry.
Okay, so this is what we'll do. If we're gonna go ahead and suspend the debate on the Virgin Mary and etc. We'll move on to we're gonna do time limits now. We're gonna put. Are you guys okay with 3 or 4 minutes on the clock?
Whatever he likes, man.
Which one do you prefer, Andrew? 3 or 4?
We just do 3 minutes. It's fine.
So we'll do 3 minutes. I'm going to give it to Gary because you brought up this topic of his wife. We're moving on from the Virgin Mary conversation, and then we'll go 3 minutes uninterrupted. Each person can make their argument, and then if you concede, then I'll bring it back to him, and then we do it as many rounds as you guys need. But go ahead.
Well, it basically goes like this, man. If you're gonna preach about Christianity and you're gonna preach to others about what a good Christian is and how people should become Christians, then the way you live your life has a lot to do with it, because you basically have to do.
He's a good debater, right? He's basically, I don't agree with anything he says, but he studied his topics. He knows what the other side's going to say. He knows how he gets around that. He knows how he attacks that, and he does a decent job. But he
I think we got a lot of that cleared up then.
Absolutely destroyed the guy I was watching, just because it was like a professional internet debater, basically. Here is Dean and Parker versus a guy that just wanted to have discussions with people.
Nice to see you, buddy.
He wasn't ready to define every term, to logically consist, all that shit, right?
Can you add Dean as well? And also, I just wanted to
wait? I'm sorry. Why do I need to add your bestie? Can't we just do a 1v1?
Well, I'm only going to be here for I think 12 more minutes because I'm going to.
Well, that's really strange. I thought you wanted to do a debate, Parker.
Well, I do, but this is
then why is it that? Can I ask you a question first, real quick? Why is it that you refuse to fly out to California to do a debate with me, even if I pay for it?
I live in California. I don't do a debate.
Great. Then why won't you do it? Can you do it next week?
I want to debate Brian, and Brian.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not talking about Brian. I'm talking about me.
Can I debate 1v2? 1v2?
Yeah. Can you just debate me?
Can I do a 1v2?
Yeah. Why don't you debate him after me?
Why can't I do a 1v2?
Why? Because I want to do a 1v1, Parker.
Why can't I do a 1v2? All 1v2.
You can, but why do you need to? Can you?
I don't know who Brian is, to be honest.
Yeah, you can talk to Brian after we're done debating.
Brian's not going to debate me though.
Why do you say that, Cass?
Yeah, so I
want to see what the arguments are here.
Compromise. And he agreed to do a fly-out debate, and then
and we'll talk about the veterans. And dude, they removed the Enola Gay. Literally, what I think they're doing. Before we finish watching this clip, what I think they're doing is they are searching the database for words like trans, gay, shit. They're just searching it and they're banning anything. They banned pictures of they deleted them from the DoD website of the Enola Gay. The airplane that dropped Little Boy. It was named after the pilot's mother. The Tuskegee Airmen. You remember the Tuskegee Airmen where they had this all black wing of the Air Force, basically? Because, a lot of the military was still segregated, but they needed pilots, blah, blah, blah. The Tuskegee Airmen, they banned all their shit from the DoD website. Random, just black people were deleted from the website for some unknown reason. Like the latest one, I just saw it was going viral right before I started, was canceled. We'll look it up. I already seen this. I'm sure somebody's already talking about it. $600,000 for studying trans menstrual cycles. I figured somebody was talking about it all. Nobody's made a video on it yet? I know it's all over Twitter. Hold on. I have to look it up, but I'll do it over here because I don't know what'll pop up. Grant to study menstrual cycles in men. So Fox News has an article. But here, let's go to Twitter because that's where most people get their fucking news. Here it is, trending on Twitter. USDA cancels grant for transgender menstrual study. U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins has canceled a $600,000 grant previously allocated for a study on menstrual cycles in transgender men. Remember that. Menstrual cycles in transgender men at Southern University Agriculture and Mechanical College in Louisiana. That college is wrong. I don't know. That college is wrong. This decision reflects ongoing scrutiny over federal spending on research considered outside traditional agriculture scope. The cancellation has sparked discussions about the allocation of research funds and the government's stance on transgender health. All right. First of all, does it not raise a red flag that this was from the Department of Agriculture? Let's just say you take this at face value, you read it, and you're like, that sounds crazy. Does it not raise a red flag that this was from the Department of Agriculture? Right? That's weird. You're talking about the Tuskegee Airmen syphilis study. It was a weird medical experiment that they did on like 400 black men in Tuskegee, Alabama. Those are kind of together and kind of not together. But why would the Department of Agriculture be doing anything with trans men's periods? U.S. Department of Ag, here we go. Who in Congress thought it was okay to spend $600,000 to study menstrual cycles in transgender men? So first of all, there's probably, if we're gonna give hormones to adults, right? There's probably an argument to be made. Hey, if they're having a menstrual cycle because they were born female, and we're giving them testosterone, hormone blockers and shit, there's probably some health concerns around studying that, right? Can we actually prescribe this? Blah blah blah. It's not in the Department of Agriculture's purview. Doge announces cancellation of $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men. So first of all, what's a transgender man? So this is someone that is born female or with the sex organs of a female and has the belief, right, their brain is that they're a man. So they have all the female parts short of surgery. Did it take $600,000 to discover men don't have menstrual cycles? We are paying. So that it's set up like we're paying money to see if men have periods, right? That's kind of the argument that's being made here. But if you go to look it up, this is not at all the case, right? So we go pull up the grant. This is it. It actually comes from this website, which has a bunch of lies on it. This website is called wokegov.appdc.org, and it is the American Principles Project, APP. It says funding insanity, federal spending on gender ideology under Biden-Harris. And if you scroll down here, there's one of them here. No. To study menstrual cycles in transgender men and people with masculine gender identities, intersex, and non-binary persons. So they've already added to it, right? To study menstrual cycles. Again, we're studying the menstrual cycles, allegedly, for transgender men and people with masculine gender identities. So this would be have female parts, I'm assuming, identify as a man, or people that have female parts and they just are masculine, intersex, and non-binary persons. But again, we're studying their menstrual cycles. Is that what you're telling me? Like we're just having them come in and they're like, and we just watch them have their period? Is that what we're doing? Because that's the way you're setting it up. When in reality, that's not it. So if we go over here, this is it. Southern University Agriculture and Mechanical College, Department of Agriculture, USDA. Start date was April 15, 2024. End date, April 14th, 2027. This is the contract. It's obligated for $600,000. The obligated amount that the government's obligated to pay is $600,000. It was just awarded. That's basically it, and not a whole lot going on. It's called an institution capacity building grants. This is to build something for this research, basically. So let's read the description, okay? And you tell me if this is studying to see if men have periods. That's what they're setting it up like. Is it studying to see if men have periods? You don't have to agree with all the terms they use, but is this studying to see if men have periods? The first occurrence of menstruation occurs at approximately 12 years of age and ends with menopause at roughly 51 years of age. A woman will have a monthly menstrual cycle for about 40 years of her life, averaging to about 450 periods over the course of her lifetime. That's depressing. Glad I'm not a woman. It is also important to recognize that transgender men, so this would be men that have female body parts, right, if they haven't had surgery, transgender men, and people with masculine gender identities, so people with female body parts, but they're masculine, intersex, which means you could have a combination of both parts, and non-binary, even if you say I'm not a man or a woman, if you have female parts, may also menstruate. So these people, no matter what they identify as, if they say I'm a tree, if they have the right body parts, they may also menstruate. That's just a true statement. That's the only bullshit you're going to get out of this. That's the only thing they latched on to. I'll continue. At any given moment, 26% of the world's population is menstruating. At any given time, a quarter of the world's population is on their period. This integrated project involves research, extension, and teaching components proposed to address the growing concerns and issues surrounding menstruation, including the potential health risks posed to users of synthetic feminine hygiene products. So like toxic shock syndrome and infections and shit. This isn't a study to see if men have periods. Advancing research in the development of feminine hygiene products that use natural materials, as well as providing menstrual hygiene management, education for young women and girls. So we also want to do education about hygiene around your period. The specific objectives of this project are A, to develop patents for sustainable feminine hygiene sanitary products using 3 natural fibers. Oh, I might have skipped something. A, to produce 3 natural fibers, regenerative cotton, regenerative wool, and industrial hemp. B, to develop patents for sustainable feminine hygiene sanitary products using the 3 natural fibers. C, to evaluate the feminine hygiene products made from each of the natural fibers in comparison to the current standard synthetic products, to educate young women and girls about, what was the MHM for? Sorry, they keep using acronyms. I keep forgetting them. Menstrual hygiene management through an extension program. E, to enhance instruction for students in college of agriculture, family and consumer science. And F, to provide a local fiber processing center for fiber growers in Louisiana. So it sounds like to me, I may be fucking crazy, but they're saying anybody, we don't care what you identify as, if you have a working vagina that has periods, we want to study the effects of using synthetics, and which we know are probably not great for us. They go inside your body. And we want to use natural fibers, come up with a product that's natural fibers, and hopefully that has less issues than using synthetics. And we want to educate people around hygiene when you have a period. Am I missing it? Am I the crazy person here? That this isn't a study to see if men have periods? Like, basically, they laid out qualifiers, just like we were talking about debate, right? You have the topics and blah, blah, blah. They're laying out, under their current understanding, all these people that can have periods. And it goes on to say, over a quarter of the world's population is having a period at any given time. That's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of fucking people. Then it's saying, hey, we don't think that they should be using synthetic products. There's already issues around synthetic products and for forever chemicals and microplastics and all that shit, right? Kelly Thomas, are you retarded? Did anywhere it says we're not, anywhere here, did it say we're not studying women? It's saying anybody. It doesn't matter what, if you identify as a computer monitor, if you have working female parts, you have a period. This is to see how bad it is. How bad the plastics are. Are natural fibers better? The three natural fibers we want to do are regenerative cotton, regenerative wool, and industrial hemp. Develop patents for sustainable feminine hygiene sanitary products. Evaluate the feminine hygiene products made from each of these natural materials or natural fibers in comparison to standard synthetic products. To educate young women and girls about sanitation through an extension program. To enhance instruction for students in the College of Agriculture. It's about studying tampons. It has nothing to do with men or women. It honestly just says anybody with a vagina that has a period. Anybody that has a period. But to read it on Twitter, it is, how much did we spend to find out that dudes don't have periods? Doge announces cancellation of $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men. Did it take $600,000 to discover men don't have menstrual cycles? We are paying $600,000 to study menstrual cycles in men. Well, not anymore. Trump Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins canceled the grant. This could affect you or your daughters, your children. They're trying to make better products for when people have periods. Secretary Rollins canceled $600,000 grant to study on menstrual cycles in transgender men. U.S. Department of Agriculture has canceled a $600,000 grant for study of menstrual cycles in transgender men. Doge canceled a $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men. Joe Rogan podcast says Agriculture Secretary canceled $600K for study on menstrual cycles in transgender men. Canceled $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men. We're paying $600,000. I mean, it's just over and 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 over again. That's not what the study was. There's already cars on the road. Can we make cars better? There's already airplanes in the sky. Can we study and make airplanes better? I don't know what that argument is. So study the long-term effects and make them better. Like, this is so stupid. Again, they're just searching for the word trans. And because this grant was written to include women, transgender men, people with masculine gender identities, intersex, and non-binary persons, they throw out everything there, the women, and they just latch on to the word trans. And it seems to me that even when they say it in their head, they think it was someone born male. Is that not the way it reads to you? It was someone born with a dick. When they're like, oh, how much did it cost us to figure out that men don't have periods? That was the only group not named. And it doesn't matter how many people correct the record. It doesn't matter that I just did this. It doesn't matter if I make a fucking TikTok about it. It's already ran to its fucking limits. They will be repeat. You will see somebody this week. I guarantee you will see somebody this week in my chat that'll say, "Oh, and we weren't given millions of dollars to see if men's have periods." No, we weren't. And what's crazy is it was like a watchdog group that did it. I told you it was the, whatever the fuck this is, the APP, American Principles Project. And a lot of these things are fucking lies. And the source is right there. You click on the source and open it up. This is their top one, the $600,000 one. But they claim to be like this watchdog group that's looking for like these woke LGBTQI plus initiatives, and the grants and the contracts and breaking it down by agency. I don't know. But like, you cannot fight this information back, this misinformation back. It's too prevalent, right? Again, the guy who spreads most of this, or at least the guy who directs a lot of this, and the reason other people are lashing onto this, is not concerned with saving money. He's not concerned with fraud, waste, or abuse. He's not concerned with the budget. He's not concerned with being honest. He's concerned with how many retweets can I get? And saying that, this university was trying to develop a natural fiber feminine hygiene product. We're canceling it. Doesn't get nearly as many retweets as the government doesn't even know if men have periods or not. They're spending this money to figure it out. I had to sign up for this stupid website just to get links back. I couldn't find it myself. I tried 2 or 3 times. I don't know. It's just wild. You're not going to change any. I showed you Twitter. Like, if you just fucking scroll Twitter, that's all it is, dude. Over and over. H22 report. It's TIFF. Common sense must have pressured the cancellation of $600,000 grant study on menstrual cycles in transgender men. Tampon Tim Walz and Michelle Obama must be heartbroken. So the Fed sent $600,000 to study the menstrual cycles of mentally ill men pretending to be women. Again, they've got it backwards. A trans man, even if that was exclusive, a trans man is a person that is assigned female at birth. So they have the female parts. So when you say mentally ill men pretending to be women, they have no idea what they're talking about, do they? This goes hard knowing Doge just canceled $600,000 in transgender mental cramps research. $600 in transgender menstrual cramp research. So now it's about menstrual cramps. Who the fuck thought $600,000 to study menstrual cycles in transgender men was a good idea? Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins canceled $600K grant for study on menstrual cycles in transgender men. Where's the community notes? Men don't have menstrual cycles, says Nancy Mace. Clown World, says Cat Turd. Insanity. Let's see what OAN wrote about it. They do become experts on basically everything almost immediately. So I would expect that. United States Department of Agriculture has announced that they have canceled a grant worth $600,000 for the study of menstrual cycles of transgender men. On Friday, Secretary Brooke Rollins announced that $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men has been canceled. $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles of transgender men, Rollins wrote on Friday on the social media platform X. Keep sending us tips. Thank you. App Project, which is the website I was just on. The insanity is ending and the restoration of America is underway. Southern University and A&M College. According to the database, USAspending.gov, U.S. Department of Agriculture granted the Southern University of Agriculture and Mechanical College in Louisiana $600,000 for the study. The database, funding insanity, federal spending on gender ideology under Biden Harris states the school will study menstrual cycles in transgender men and people with masculine gender identities, intersex, and non-binary persons. No, it didn't. It said, I don't even think they were studying menstrual cycles. It said, these people can have menstrual cycles. Even in the people that they wanted to educate, it specifically said women and girls. And in their, I didn't read this, in their thing, they're quoting something. I don't know what they're quoting out of. I'm going to read you a sentence, and you tell me what they're quoting out of, if you know it. The first occurrence of menstruation occurs at approximately 12 years of age and ends with menopause at roughly 51 years of age. Norman, 2014. Is this like a medical encyclopedia or medical something? Is this Norman 2014? Because there's also a quote to Norman 2022. I'm sorry, Wasselberg 2022, Barrington 2021. Are these like other studies or something? Or like when a lawyer quotes like Westlaw or the Supreme Court or whatever, they're quoting something here. And even their statements, that is, it is also important to recognize that transgender men and people with masculine gender identities, intersex, and non-binary persons also menstruate. That's credited to Weisselberg, Weiselberg, 2022. At any given moment, about 26% of the world's population is menstruating. That's from Barrington et al. 2021. So they're not, this isn't even their statement. They're quoting some type of medical database or studies or some shit. PubMed, maybe. It's some type of citation. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what they use for medical papers. Oh, Dr. Norman is professor at Department of Clinical Epidemiology and Biostatistics. It's probably that guy if he does biological statistic keeping. Let me just do this. It's got to be a paper somewhere, right? Or a doctor they're quoting. It has to be something well known that you could look up, right? Oh, here it is. The relation of age at Menarch. Okay, here it is. National Institute of Health. The relation of age at Menarch with age at natural menopause, a population study of 336,788 women in Norway. They are quoting someone else's synopsis of a study, it looks like. I'm sure it's on PubMed. Yeah, PubMed ID number. Okay, that makes more sense. So even in the part that they take issue with, that trans men, masculine gender identity people, intersex and non-binary people may also menstruate, they're quoting somebody. That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with what they're just setting the stage. They're saying this thing exists, and then here's what we want to do about it. I don't know how they just continue to lie. And no one wants to look it up. No one wants to check it out. Everybody just wants to repeat it as many times as possible and then laugh and giggle and do their thing. I don't know. Shit's wild. To me, I guess. Like that's not what they're studying. They had multiple goals. So the goals were, one, to produce 3 natural fibers. That was the cotton, wool, and hemp. To develop patents for sustainable feminine hygiene sanitary products using those 3 fibers. To evaluate the feminine hygiene products made from each of the natural fibers in comparison to standard synthetic product currently used, to educate young women and girls about hygiene through an extension program they were going to have, to enhance instruction for students in the College of Agriculture, Family, and Consumer Science, and the last goal was to provide a local fiber processing center for fibers grown in Louisiana. And then everybody runs to fucking X. It's like, they got penises they can't have. They can't have periods, dude. And these are the people that'll say, you can't fool me. You can't fool me. I do my own research. Shit's getting crazy. All right, let's go back. I wanted to see what this debate devolves into here.
Are you?
But we can start. But we can start with the idea of your criticisms of the Whatever podcast, correct?
Oh, of course. I mean, we can talk
And
about
when
that
can we schedule this?
anytime.
Oh, well, let's schedule it now and let's do it live because that way you can't back out later.
Can you add Dean up too so we can schedule? Because I need to
Yeah, schedule it now. Yeah, add Dean. Add Dean. Back out later.
Can you add Dean up too? Also, Brian, should I
Yeah, schedule it now. Yeah.
Oh shit, it's doubled up. Hold on.
Can you
Okay, there you
get
go.
like a specific response of why you've been so scared to debate?
Hold on, D needs to send another request in.
Okay.
I don't know why you're smug. Neither one of you are good debaters, and I'm going to crush both of you easily.
And you have to say that to make yourself feel better. It's okay. But
I
yeah,
mean, we'll
Brian,
see. We'll see live,
Parker.
Parker. Like I've debated with you before, and you failed multiple times. You didn't even know it was me.
I have a good idea.
That's how bad you are at it.
Brian,
Well, here's what I want to do. Here's what
I have a good idea. I have a good idea. How about we schedule our debate for right now? Why is slut shaming good?
I only have like what 9 minutes more left.
Yeah, he only has 9 minutes, Dean.
I have a dinner with my girlfriend and my family.
Yeah, this is.
I already have a little bit as well. 9 minutes. Let's run it real quick.
No, let's do an in-person debate.
God, I want to debate right here, right now.
Wait, but Brian, will you be involved in that debate, or are you gonna run away from that?
Yes.
Yeah,
2v1 on
I'm
your
down
criticisms
for
or whatever.
I'm down for the 2v2.
Okay, perfect. That's
Okay, Marianne, man, I'm going to try to say this really slow. So you said, I would think they would want to differentiate between transgender men that are on testosterone versus transgender men that are not on testosterone. In this entire study, there were going to be 0 people. They weren't studying people or vaginas or penises or testosterone levels. They were studying tampons. So it doesn't matter if they said giraffes have periods and they're all on cocaine. They were studying tampons. And once they study that tampon, they don't give a damn if you shove it down your throat, up your ass, in your neighbor's ear. They were studying tampons. Or pads or whatever. Natural feminine hygiene products. It wouldn't have mattered if they'd differentiated anything. Because it would be like, I'm studying plastic bottles, and you're like, well, is it a carbonated soda or non-carb? I'm studying plastic bottles. I don't give a fuck what you put in it. I want to see how plastic bottles break down in a landfill. Like it just is. They were studying tampons.
sounds great. In person, you do which day?
Yeah, we want to know when though.
God,
And
dude,
you both have to come. You both have to come.
I have an idea. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Bert kind of went off the rails the other day, calling people off. I figured he'd delete the video. I ended up downloading it.
Brian,
yesterday, last night.
$35 on a plane ticket out to LA a couple months
If
ago.
you guys show up, I'll reimburse it.
You
If you guys show up, I'll reimburse it. If you guys show up, I'll reimburse it.
One moment. And then you cancel on me day of, and you do not reimburse me, and you fail to reschedule. I would be more than willing to debate you guys in an online setting, but I will not be dedicating my attention, focus.
Okay, then get out of here. Goodbye.
Seriously.
I think intersex kind of includes everybody that have any type of mixture of parts. So someone the other day said, like, what about hermaphrodites? That's part of intersex. Your missing parts, have extra parts, combined parts, both parts, 2 full sets, testes and over it. Like, it's just everything that doesn't fall in a clean category of you've got male parts or female parts.
Yeah, then goodbye. You already made the agreement and you lied. Bro, you made the agreement to me and you lied.
Yeah, and then I backed out of...
Yeah, you backed out. Exactly. You backed out, you coward. You
I'm
fucking
not a coward because I'll debate you online. You're scared of me.
Damn.
Why does it have to be
Debating about debating. You guys are right.
Because you're not worth my
You
time.
cheat, Dean, like you did. When Parker was feeding you information in your Fuentes debate, you were cheating.
Right now
Oh, wow. So do you want me to close my eyes and debate you with my eyes?
No, I want you to show up with your facts, with your stats, and I don't want it to be me versus...
Which is why I brought up intersex when Trump said there's only men and women, or male and female. There's only 2 sexes, male and female. That's not true. Like right around a little bit less than 2% of the population are born in some in between. So when you say there's only black and white, and then someone shows up and they're like, hey, I'm red or green or purple, like what the fuck do you do then?
Just 5,000, but me versus you.
Andrew, I'm going to mog you right now. So I will debate you online with my eyes
You
closed.
could never mog me in a million years, you grifting scumbag. Remember when you
I
did
mog
the
you every
whole...
day.
Do you
I mog you
remember
every day.
when you pretended you were Andrew Tate? Do you remember that?
Oh, man,
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Bible and you
It was. I mean, it was hilarious for all the wrong reasons. But this aside, you're not going to ever mog anything.
I already
do you want
do.
to?
I already
Parker
do.
came on and made the agreement to do a 2v2, and now is refusing.
Oh, wait. I just found their whole study. Literally, the name of the study was called Project Farm to Feminine Hygiene, Enhancing Textiles Lab for research, extension, and scientific instrumentation for the teaching at Southern University. Oh, I didn't see this earlier. Oh, this goes in the methodology. Through alternative fibers, regenerative cotton, regenerative wool fiber, and industrial hemp, and wool fiber sourced from local farmers or grown or raised at Southern University as part of our current ongoing research will be processed in our textile lab using industrial-grade fiber production machinery. Regenerative cotton fiber is a revolutionary development in the textile industry, offering a sustainable, eco-friendly alternative to traditional cotton fiber. Acadian brown cotton, ABC, an heirloom variety of upland cotton traditional to Louisiana, is grown using regenerative farming methods. ACB 2023. For this project, ABC will be purchased from local farmers as part of the Field to Fashion Acadian Project, a regional fiber manufacturing initiative and member of the Acadian Fiber Shed. The regenerative cotton fiber will be processed from the natural boll state and placed in cotton ginning machine to separate the seeds and other residue from the fiber. Once the fiber is ginned, the next step of the process is spinning the fiber into yarn. Processing raw cotton into yarn requires a series of spinning processes for the university. This like goes into everything they're going to do. University lab setting, a mini spinning system is appropriate. The hemp fiber will undergo condensation process as well to convert the hemp into cotton-like fibers so that it can be used as dry spinning machinery. The hemp fiber is then ready for the dry spinning process. Weaving is the last step of the process. Objective 2, the project will result in the development of patenting several prototypes of reusable feminine hygiene products, including sanitary pads, liners, and underwear. These products will be innovatively crafted using alternative natural fibers, ensuring their sustainability and eco-friendliness. The prototypes will be designed to cater to a diverse needs of menstruating girls and women with 3 distinct absorbency levels: light, regular, and super. The products will be available in a variety of sizes to ensure comfort, fit, and all users. The project will explore 2 unique concepts. The first concept involves the development of one-piece reusable feminine hygiene products, including pads, liners, and underwear. The design aims to provide a convenient and hassle-free experience for the users. The second concept is a more versatile approach featuring a 2-piece design. Objective 3, to carry out a comprehensive survey among selected group of female students at Southern University. The primary focus of the survey will be to gauge the perceived usefulness of the products made for the various natural fibers, namely cotton, hemp, and wool, in the comparison to standard synthetic products. To ensure the accuracy and reliability of our survey, we will be utilizing the robust survey package of our Core Team 2023 for its design. This package is renowned for its comprehensive features and user-friendly interface. So this is how they're going to take the surveys, making it an ideal choice for our project. The survey will consist of a series of questions with ordered responses following a Likert scale model. The model is widely recognized for its effectiveness in capturing the intensity of respondents' feelings towards... I think it's probably a scale like somewhat agree, somewhat disagree, all the way up to strongly agree, strongly disagree. I don't know what the Likert scale is, but I would assume it's something like that. Our case are different types of fibers. Once the survey data is collected, we will produce its statistical analysis. Objective 4, to educate young women and adolescent girls about menstruation, methods for managing menstruation, and how to create their own reusable feminine hygiene sanitary products using alternative natural fibers. Project Farm to Feminine Hygiene will offer extension workshops to empower young women and girls through education and practical skills. These workshops will provide a safe, supportive environment where young women and girls can learn about the biological aspects of menstruation, its role in the reproductive cycle, and the physical and emotional changes that accompany it. By understanding their bodies, these young women can better manage their health and well-being. The various methods of managing menstruation include both commercial products and traditional methods will be discussed. Issues such as menstrual hygiene, pain management, and how to handle irregular periods will be addressed. And learn the creation of reusable feminine hygiene products, including how to make their own sanitary pads using alternative natural fibers. This skill not only promotes sustainability, but also provides a cost-effective solution for those who may not have easy access to commercial sanitary projects. To enhance instruction, like they go through everything here. I don't have to read it all. There's still like 5 more paragraphs, but why would you take issue with this? Bowls? Is that how you say it? I don't know how to say it. Like, I'm not a big fan of thinking about like washing them, like reusable, but I guess people use cloth diapers or whatever. But why would you take issue with this? Just because they said people who identify as a man but still have female parts have periods? These people aren't even involved in the study. They're literally going to make these things and then hand them out to college girls and say, how do you like it?
Let's do it right now. 1v2. All 1v2 online.
Okay, goodbye, Dean. You already backed
He's running
out.
away.
Bye.
Andrew's
I can't run away from a debate.
They're making everything culture war. Everything culture war.
You won't accept.
I'm accepting
He
it.
said
I want to do it right now.
Wait, Andrew,
Yeah,
why-
you say you'll only do it on. Why won't you do it in person?
Andrew,
Because you're not worth my time.
I think it's an amazing study. Maybe you're kind of like me, turned off by like the reusable aspect of it. But like toxic shock syndrome is like fucking crazy, right? And that's because it's like synthetic, right? It can like really fuck people up and like end your ability to ever have kids and shit.
I'm bigger.
Yeah, I have a way bigger platform than you by engagement.
No,
Way
you
don't.
bigger.
What are you
Yes, I
talking
do.
about?
My average
Andrew,
live
you're
stream's got
delusional.
between 5,000 to 7,000 per debate. What about
Yeah,
you?
we get more than that.
What are you at right this second? Yeah,
Be quiet.
stop. Where are you at on YouTube, Parker? When you go live, where are you at?
YouTube or here on TikTok or my platform?
Yeah, YouTube.
I mean, it's potentially life threatening, but I think at least what I remember about hearing about it, I haven't looked it up in forever. Like it can cause a lot of issues, like fucking, like a blood infection. Like it's like an infection, right? Blood infection. It can prevent you for childbirth, future childbirth, like all kinds of fuck, including death.
Oh,
TikTok's
I
easy
don't
to
go
get
live on
viewers.
YouTube.
Wait, if
Yeah,
TikTok was
TikTok's super easy.
Wait, Andrew, what do you get when you go on TikTok?
If TikTok was super easy, how come you guys had
Me?
100 viewers before Parker rated you?
Because it's the first time he's.
Imagine people that only have like a male in their life. Imagine girls that only have a male in their life. How hard it'd be to be like a single dad, like raising a couple girls and trying to explain to them all this shit. And then there's like a program they can go down to, and it's like, hey, your first period, here's how it's going to go, and here's what you're going to go through, and here's some things that you can do to make it easier, and here's the emotions you're going to go through, and here's how to stay keep it the hygiene going well. Like that's crazy.
He's ever gone live.
Oh, but I thought it was easy, Andrew. What happened?
It is easy.
Oh, so
Wait, Dean, how many viewers did you get the first time you came on live, Dean?
Oh, I think I got, what was it, 1.7 thousand? The very first?
Wow, yeah, because it's super easy.
Oh, but like he had 100 by himself. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can
You're punching
completely.
up on
Andrew,
By the way,
Andrew, have you ever hosted a live?
Dean,
Andrew, have you ever hosted a live?
help me out. Yeah,
Okay, wait, how many viewers did you get?
I think it was 1.7.
1.7? Okay, so only once?
That was the only time I ever did it. Yeah,
Only one live.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
What are you moving about? Do you have proof to the contrary, Parker?
Wait.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be able to.
Okay, no, can you let Dean? Can you let
Yeah.
Parker talk?
Instead of-
Parker,
No,
Parker, can you show me
go.
proof to the contrary, Parker?
That wouldn't make any sense. It's like saying, show me proof unicorns don't
Well,
exist.
then here's the thing, though.
Show me proof unicorns don't exist, Andrew.
Oh, I'm sorry, Parker. Let me
show
get
me
this right.
proof unicorns
You
don't
just
exist?
smugly said, as though you doubted it.
Yeah. What?
Why? Based on?
Because I don't trust your character. I don't trust.
Oh,
what
I
you
don't
said.
trust your
What's the blonde-headed one? His name's Dean, right, or something like that.
Mr. Parker, because
Yeah,
you already
we'll get to
lied.
those. Andrew's
You guys
still-
already lied about showing up to do a live debate. So
I
here's
never
what I'm
lied.
willing-
I never lied.
Here's
You
what I'm
guys
willing to
canceled
do.
day
Here's what I'm willing to do. Since Dean refuses to show up, you'll do
Because you're not worth
me
my
too,
time.
Parker.
I'll debate you right here, right now.
Let's debate
Yeah, I know.
online. Andrew, why won't you
online.
debate online? Why won't you debate?
Because I
online?
know that Dean cheats. I saw it happen.
Cheats?
Look at this.
Cheats? What?
Okay, look at this. I'm not even home. I'm not in the studio.
He'll debate you blindfolded. Okay, how about that?
Okay, well then here.
Cheating in this, when they say cheat, and you think, how could you debate on cheat on an internet debate? It's like looking shit up, right? You need to come prepared. You might have notes or something you've written down to stay on topic, or like an outline of where you want to go, but you can't be Googling shit, I guess.
Here's what we'll do then.
They're all internet debaters.
We'll drop you, and I'll do a 1v1 with Dean right now.
Okay, well, I mean, I gotta go anyway. So, I mean, I'll
Okay,
be
see you
quiet.
later.
I'll be quiet just until I have to.
No,
leave.
you'll just leave. I'll do the 1v1 now. Wait, so hold on. Before we do that, I'm fine to have you guys do the 1v1. Dean, what are your actual objections to doing a 2v2 in person? I'd much prefer to do this in person.
Do you want me to be honest with you? You're not worth my time.
Oh, then why are you here?
Because you're worth
You're not worth my
this
time.
much amount of time, but not.
Oh, okay. So we're worth your time, but we're not worth your time. That makes a lot of sense.
There's a difference between hopping on a live stream and like traveling to some, like across the country, right, or whatever.
Person and fly. You understand the difference between flying to someone in person versus like debating them on an online space? So, like,
Yeah,
why won't
so
you do
who-
it on
so
an
who's-
online space?
Dude, something I learned about. So my dad had a problem with like healing and stuff before he passed away. So like if he got like nicks and cuts and shit, he was diabetic, didn't have good circulation or whatever. Something I learned about from the home health nurses and shit. Like people with pets, people with pets all the time when they have like problems healing and this, that, and the other, and in their house and dirty, and pets go outside, end up getting like maggots, ants, like all kinds of shit. And these are mostly like elderly people who aren't don't have great health, but home health nurses have seen it all, especially when they're doing like wound care. Like, Jesus Christ, the wound clinic nurses we would talk about shit, stuff that would make your damn skin crawl. Like a dog goes out and gets into something and brings it in, brushes up against you or whatever, and they find this tissue that's not healing fast, so it's like almost dead, almost live kind of deal, and that shit gets on and gets in there. Dude, it's awful.
So wait, so whose life is worth going on?
It's online, then it's fine.
No, whose life is worth going on in person? Yeah.
In person? Well, like Jubilee, like he did.
Yeah,
or like when we went to the White House, like because we got invited by the president, like that's something like that.
So wait a second.
I worked so hard to keep my dad's like literally like sometimes I was going there like 4 and 5 times a day to like change his bandages, to flush shit out. He had to have a toe removed, then back to the knuckle, and then like this little pocket cut out on his toe, all because you know how older people are. He said he stubbed his toe, but he actually hooked his toenail and bent it up. And he just pushed it back down and threw some fucking tape on it. And dude, by the time I found it, I saw him limping one day, and I made him take off his shoe and shit. By the time I found it, it was just, I mean, it was bad. It was like rotten, basically. Ended up losing the toe. Then they went back to like the next knuckle behind like your second knuckle on your toe. Then they had to cut like this little L shape out, just trying to get ahead of the infection because he was getting in his bone. And the doctor finally told him, like, hey, we're going to take more than we need. I'm sorry. It sucks. We'll get your prosthetic, but you're going to lose your leg.
Second, so for creators, haven't you gone in person to other creators who have smaller platforms than Brian?
Who?
I'm asking you.
No, I haven't. No.
Not you, Dean.
Nope. Wait,
You've never done it? You've never? Are you sure?
Bro, Dean, you went on Steiny's.
Yeah, that was way bigger than yours.
Sorry, Brian.
Dude, I'm sorry, Brian, but you're kind of like irrelevant, bro.
Also, like, can I also just point it out there that Steiny flew me out on a semi-private airline and then put me up in a very fine hotel for a night?
I'll fly you out first class and give you a hotel room.
Okay. Well, Andrew, you're not even going to make money off of that, so I wonder where you're getting that money from.
What do you mean?
Well, shit.
I'm sorry, Parker, you might want to look
Brian
this up.
doesn't pay you.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm consistently in the top 5 most super chatted shows in the United States. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, well, I'm just saying Brian doesn't pay you.
Oh, God. Okay.
Somehow, it seems like the far right crowd, when they get an audience, they are fucking very, very, very dedicated audience. Very, very dedicated. They donate a lot.
Do I need Brian to pay me?
What's with the meta conversation? I have like 10 minutes myself. Parker has to dip here soon. Why is slut shaming good?
Yeah, we're not getting into that just yet. We're
Guys, wasting my time.
He's like, I only want to
understand why the time. I want to know a few things from you. The first thing, Dean, that I'd like to know
Andrew,
is
just answer the question. Why is slut shaming good?
Parker.
Why is slut shaming good? Answer the question.
Stop talking, Parker. I'm going to answer the question, but first I want to finish this. So, Dean, you came on my stream live. You agree that that's true after you called me out via somebody else's stream. That is correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay. On that stream, you made an agreement that you would come on the Whatever podcast for 2 events. One event would be a debate. The other event would be that you would mingle with the crowd itself and get the feel for the show so that you could make sure that your criticisms were valid, which I thought was fair. We both entered into that agreement live. And now later you're backing out of the agreement. So let me ask you this. If it's that you're unwilling to do it on...
Anyways, this is like debate bow stuff. I like watching it. You guys might not. But it's very semantic. It's very like definition based. It's to try to catch you in a fallacy. So the way you should come into a debate, you're supposed to come into a debate, is I believe this set of principles, and it doesn't matter if you apply it to Trump, or you apply it to China, or you apply it to my neighbor, or you apply it to Hitler, the principles still follow, right? They're still logically sound. You won't find a fallacy in them. You won't find me treating this one person this way because of their views or something they said or something outside the bounds of what I believe. And it'll apply consistently and logically. And debate, bro, it's like a big fucking thing. These debaters and their definitions and catching people in this and catch them in a fallacy and then having to clear it up. And you basically won because they don't apply it evenly. When most people, I would say most people, their beliefs are not applied evenly. Like 99% of the population, but I guess that's why they don't debate. But debaters will try to have everything flow consistently. All right, check this out. Legend, I might have a research project for you. You guys remember, I think her name is January Littlejohn. That was the woman that was at Trump's thing, and apparently her daughter had a transition plan at her school without the parents' permission. That's the claim, okay? This is where Trump gets his claim that they go to school and they perform surgery on them and they come back. That's not even the claim here, but that's he obviously embellishes and lies about everything. The claim here is that their daughter went to school, the teachers made him trans, came out with a transition plan, didn't tell, blah, 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 right? He had a hyperbaric chamber a couple times. Here is some more to that story.
Who is January Littlejohn, and was her child really secretly transitioned? On Tuesday, the 4th of March, U.S. President Donald Trump made a string of claims about the LGBTQ+ community during his address to Congress. Following a bizarre rant about transgender mice, the president said,
"A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl."
Would you believe me if I told you that this is a lie? Would you believe me if I told you that prior to any of this happening, the parents emailed the school and told the school that their daughter was in a fragile place, confused, and preferred they, them pronouns? The parents emailed the school ahead of this controversy and asked the school to use they, them pronouns. So the school, as required by their governing body, whatever laws, legislation, did a plan for a student who identifies differently and laid it out. Followed the parents' wishes. Then the parents sue them in court. And what do you think happened in court? They got thrown out.
Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually.
In 2021, the Littlejohn family sued Florida's Leon County School District, alleging that education officials had failed to inform them of their child's gender identity and social transition. However, emails show one of DeSantis' stories backing the rationale for so-called Don't Say Gay law didn't happen, as the governor says. CNN paint a different story. They appear to show that January Littlejohn was aware of her child's gender identity. In one email sent to a teacher in 2020, Littlejohn wrote,
in an August 27, 2020 email to a teacher, the mom stated, in part, "This has been an incredibly difficult situation for our family and her father, and I are trying to be as supportive as we can. She is currently identifying as non-binary. She would like to go by the new name, blank, and prefers the pronouns they, them. We have not changed her name at home yet, but I told her if she wants to go by the name blank with her teachers, I won't stop her." Either one or two things happened. Either the mom was trying to be supportive and the dad didn't know, and then the dad, when he found out, lost his shit, and the mom tries to play dumb, or they both fucking lied. One of the two.
"This has been an incredibly difficult situation for our family, and her father and I are trying to be as supportive as we can. She is currently identifying as non-binary. She would like to go by the new name and prefers the pronouns they, them. We have not changed her name at home yet, but I told her if she wants to go by the name with her teachers, I won't stop her." In response to the email, the teacher thanked Littlejohn and asked if she should share with other teachers. However, following that initial exchange, Littlejohn and her husband sued the Leon County School Board for developing a transgender, gender non-conforming student support plan plan for their child, as per the school's standard policy, which January Littlejohn claimed was created without notifying her or her husband.
What they actually did is they affirmed my daughter's self-hate. They affirmed...
By the way, the teacher also asked, I kind of skipped over this. The teacher also asked, can I share this information with the other teachers? She replied, whatever you think is best for, or unnamed, right? The kid can handle it herself. I'm going to let her take the lead on this. I'm going to let her take the lead on this. So when the school followed their policy and made a plan for this student, they were trying to keep the student from like being bullied, from not feeling like herself. They were trying to help the parents of the student do what they asked to do. So then DeSantis comes out with this brand new child and parental rights campaign or whatever. And that's what the lawsuit's filed under. A parent gave permission to the school to let the child take the lead. So they sat down and said, okay, how do you want to be identified? What do you want to be called? They were just doing what the mom said. The complaint stated that the parents did not authorize the math teacher to tell other teachers or anyone else about using J as a nickname. I guess the first letter of the name is J. But literally the emails say that they did. The emails said, yes, whatever you think's best, I'm letting the kid. It could, I guess there's a third option. The mom could have genuinely been trying to help her kid. Dad lost his shit. Right? 2, they both knew about the school thing and they're just fucking lying, right? Or 3, it went farther than they thought and then they got pissed off about it. Would you like me to share this with redacted other teachers? Or are you telling them? Thanks again. The mother replied, I honestly hadn't gotten that far. Whatever you think is best. Or redacted can handle it. Pronouns redacted. Math teacher. If they really wants them to do this, we really need to tell them. I can do it for you if you'd like. I am even the safe space ally for the school for LGBTQ students. That's wonderful. The mother says, that's wonderful to hear. This gender situation has thrown us for a loop. I sincerely appreciate your support. I'm going to let blank take the lead on this. The parents said the initial email was simply about the possibility of the child using the nickname with other teachers, but they didn't expect them to do it. This is why it was thrown out. Trump would have you believe that this girl went to school as a girl and the parents believed it was a girl. Then the girl came home and said, I'm they, them, and I'm not a girl anymore. And the parents were like, what? This is the first we've heard of this. That's not what happened. It is their policy to make a plan. And the plan is not like, we want to force them further. The plan is there to keep your kid from being bullied, okay? That's what the plan's for. That's what the fucking plan's for. How do we answer questions when other students come up? How do we address them? What are their preference? What do we do if another kid does this? What do we do if there's a mistake made or another kid is intentionally saying her, and they want to be called him? It's to keep your kid from being bullied. I don't know. They're fucking pieces of shit for this. Emailing the school, giving them a heads up, telling them they can share whatever they think is best. Then they do what they think is best. Let the kid take the lead like the mother asked. And then they get sued for it?
In response to the email, the teacher thanked Littlejohn and asked if she should share with other teachers. However, following that initial exchange, Littlejohn and her husband sued the Leon County School Board for developing a transgender, gender non-
Yes, they, them is always acceptable. I'm going over to their house. I'm going with them. I use it all the time.
Student support plan for their child, as per the school's standard policy, which January Littlejohn claimed was created without notifying her or her husband.
What they actually did.
You're an idiot. When you notified the school, they have to do this plan. That was you starting this plan. On your wishes.
Is they affirmed my daughter's self-hate. They affirmed in her mind that something was wrong with her body. No one loves their children more than parents do. And it's our fundamental right to direct the upbringing of our children.
A federal judge subsequently dismissed.
I know most parents would be like, I would want to know if something's going on with my kid, but that's because you're a good, well, if you're a great parent, you'd probably already know something's up. If you're a good parent, you probably want to know something's up. But there are shitty parents that'll throw their kids out, that'll beat their kids, that'll fucking... Imagine a kid comes out to you as gay, and you tell their parents, and then their parents beat the hell out of them and throw them out. You have to imagine what's the worst that could be done with this information.
They actually did is they affirmed my daughter's self-hate. They affirmed in her mind that something was wrong with her body. No one...
But this isn't the case here. She started all this with an email. The teachers literally testified they had no fucking idea that any of this was going on until the mom emailed them that their kid was non-binary, wanted to go by these pronouns and this name. Should I tell the other teachers? Whatever you think is best. Or we could have your kid do it. I'm going to let her take the lead on it, but you do whatever's best. Either way, fine.
Their children more than parents do. And it's our fundamental right to direct the upbringing of our children.
A federal judge subsequently dismissed the Littlejohn's lawsuit for failure to state a claim upon which relief can be granted. The Littlejohn family are currently appealing this decision.
They're going to lose. They're going to unless they get that crazy fucking judge that Trump had down in Florida on his case that threw everything out. They're going to fucking lose. This shit's crazy, dude. Crazy. A lot of these stories I've been researching and finding out it's fake. That's actually why I want you to look into, Legend. One of these stories. I've done about enough. It drove me fucking crazy. I sent probably 50 messages to the mod chat the other day about, what about this? Did you see this? Look at this. This, I don't know. I think a lot of these stories are made up. A lot of these stories are made up. Let's check in with our guy Sully and his cups. It's called Buying the Military.
$500 billion. And to give you some type of reference, this is the White House. You've seen it many times. Imagine the White House full of $20 bills from corner to corner, first floor and second floor. That would be $500 billion. To give you another perspective, you're sitting at a football field, end zone to end zone, sideline to sideline, 2 stories tall, $20 bills, $500 billion. And that's what we're going to use for today's example. In 2018, the richest people in this nation, and there's about 500 of them approximately, held $3.1 trillion. $3.1 trillion, 6 White Houses full of $20 bills for 500 people. You fast forward to 2024, those same people now have $5.6 trillion. That is an 80% increase in their wealth. Did those tax cuts increase your wealth by 80%? This goes way beyond party. This is not.
Obviously. Obviously, it's changed quite a bit. They know the solution to all these problems is tax their buddies, tax their friends, tax their donors. I can't believe how far I've come from like what I believed my political beliefs were when I was 18 years old. Basically just what my parents' political leanings were, right? What all those around me were, to the point I am now. Like I would sound so radical to myself when I was 18. I would sound so radical to myself 6 years ago. Like, it's fucking insane.
This is not a Democrat and Republican thing. This is a problem. This is what the Greeks warned about. The Greeks warned about oligarchies, which is a government of the few. We are giving up all of our control to a very limited amount of people. And why is that such a scary thing? Because those two blue cups right there, that is all of the money it requires to.
There was somebody at one point that proposed a maximum wage. I can't remember who it was, but instead of having a minimum wage, have a maximum wage. I think it was $12 million a year, which is still insane, right? Could you imagine making $12 million a year? But I don't think it would go over very well. But basically, when they figured it up, the $12 million a year maximum wage, like everybody, the lifestyle you live would increase orders of magnitude if the money was distributed beyond that.
To purchase everything in the United States.
Was it Jesse Ventura?
$1.1 trillion. That's all the aircraft carriers. It's all of the helicopters.
Everything in the United States military, $1.1 trillion.
All of the tanks, all of the jets, everything. Do you think it's in our best interest to have people that could purchase the U.S. military multiple times over? We've got to get on the same page. We have to. If you think about
everybody talks about how big our military, how much we spend, how much we do. The entire military could be purchased for those 2 cups.
About it. The only way to rip off the United States, because you cannot launder trillions of dollars, you have to manipulate the tax code. They're clearly doing it. And we got to stop doing their.
There's a huge difference in between tax rates and effective tax rate. You don't have disposable income to start training horses on your property to do ballet. But billionaires do, and there's such a tax credit for it, it behooves them to do these crazy things. They will spend, it's mind-blowing, they'll spend millions of dollars to create a tax loophole, right, to fall under something over here that'll save them a little bit more. Like, I'll spend $1.5 million to save $3 million on my taxes, right? Obviously. We don't have the income to do anything like it. Most people can't even do a fucking itemized deduction because a standard deduction works out better for you. But we're not talking about most people.
Dirty work. Trickle-down economics does not work. It's right there in front of you. They're hoarding the money. You know, when you go to the grocery store or Home Depot, you're checking yourself out. You're completely aware that there are robots being used on assembly lines. You know that they're investigating in AI. This is a massive problem. And for people that keep saying, I'm tired, I don't care about the tax cuts anymore, so I just don't care. It worked on you then. All of the gaslighting and all of the propaganda, I
think this is another reason that Doge has to make it seem. I've already heard the argument. Why should we be paying so much in taxes when they're wasting it on transgender periods and transgender mice and DEI woke and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and whatever? So now they're going to have them make that argument for millionaires. How can you expect the top 1% to be paying such a high rate when we know how they waste all the money?
You're right where you want you. And it's so easy for me to see. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This week, these tennis cans represent everybody in the NCAA. 630,000 people in the NCAA. And we had to legislate this week. We had to have an executive order that read like a tabloid protecting women in sports, whatever it was. This is the amount of people we're talking about.
I think last time I looked at this, there was around 500,000. And there were 4 people in the NCAA that identified as trans. 500,000 people. There are 4 people in NCAA.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is what gaslighting is. This is a decoy. I do not know how to be more specific to you. Doge.
And everybody in my fucking town, is most concerned. We just got hit by a fucking flood and hurricane. Everything's fucked up, right? Like, everything's fucking crazy right now. We just got hit with smoke and dust from Texas somehow in a goddamn weather anomaly that I guarantee you has something to do with global warming. Literally, we come out the other morning and all our cars were covered with fucking dirt from Texas. And it's just like all over the news. And their biggest concern is trans people. How can you guys be so fucking worried about trans people? They're literally setting us up to rob us from the White House. I don't even know what the argument was. People were complaining about ash on their cars and thought like maybe it's from a wildfire, and the news come out and they said, no, that's dirt from Texas. It happens sometimes. Like, okay. I don't have the capacity to research dirt from Texas right now.
Tax cuts, you can't see either one of them. They want us arguing. They didn't stand up for someone this week during the State of the Union. We got tariffs in the morning. We don't have them in the afternoon. This is a weapon of mass distraction. They don't care. I don't even know what happens sometimes. Sometimes there's missing children. Sometimes they're not. We got to worry about woke. We got to worry about CRT. We got to worry about DEI. Thank God we can say Merry Christmas. They have worn you down. And the reality is, we got to stop this. If we don't stop this, there's no turning back. And a very few amount of people will control all of the wealth in this country. They can buy their own nuclear weapons. They can buy their own military. Why would our soldiers work for the U.S. military when they can afford to pay 5 times more? Yeah, I need you to get back.
By the way, I think it came out that all the people on Doge, remember how they weren't getting paid? They weren't taking salaries. They're all getting paid at GS-15 levels, which is general schedule, right? GS-15 is the highest. They're all getting paid at the absolute highest scale that they can be paid at as a government employee.
Back on the same page. I need you to realize that it's always been about.
Yeah, GS-15 is like a lifetime fucking employee, right? Like, it's like you're ready for retirement. They're all 18, 19, 20 years old and be paid GS-15.
Taxes from the beginning and prove me wrong. Math does not lie. And in my classroom, cups and cans talk and bullshit walks. Enough with the excuses. We got to stop this. I hope you learned something. I care. I'm just like you. Let's get on the same page.
It's not a lot because it's a government job, right? But it's still like, I mean, it's like probably like $115 to like $160,000, $170,000 somewhere in there. They're all ranges, right? But it's basically like making between. Last time I looked it up, GS-15 level. I haven't looked it up since this information came out, but it was between like making like $50 to $70, $80 an hour, somewhere around there.
You remember, I'm always rooting for you.
I want to see what else he's put out. Sully Dog.
Oh, you can't find.
People need to see this. Can you make this so we can repost the classroom? Oh, is it a group?
Not this, baby. This right here.
Okay, so he's got a Facebook group if anybody's interested, it looks like.
This is customized.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the classroom.
We've already watched that one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the.
Oh, we might have already watched all these unless those are pinned. Oh, no, we haven't. He just got. Did he repost them? Let's see, he might have reposted some of them. Let's see the first one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to my classroom. Hope you're having a good day. Little visual aids for you today. Now, listen, I love people. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. It has been extremely difficult for over 10 years to actually get people to listen or to teach them something. People are so firmly entrenched in their beliefs that they really don't want to learn about anything. So I'm going to break something down to you to try to get you to at least think why a guy like me is not for what's going on. I'm not a crazy person. I'm like 85% of the Democratic Party. I'm an educated guy, play baseball. I'm a grandfather, run a business, love all my friends. That's who I am. I'm not looking for people to do crazy things, but I am.
This can't be real. The White House posted on the official whitehouse.gov website. I want you to try to deal with this logically. Okay, think about it. Think it out before you say anything in chat. In just over 1 month, illegal border crossings have plummeted by numbers that nobody has actually ever seen before. It's much more than 100%. Another post, they said it was another week filled with endless wins for the American people under President Donald J. Trump. These are official fucking whitehouse.gov memos they're putting out. I believe that nobody's seen that for sure. They actually have, what they actually saw were illegal immigrants going back voluntarily.
I am a person that prioritizes things. This is $100 billion. Represents $100 billion, which is roughly the money that it takes to go into to fund the Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Plan. $100 billion for all those people that are on the plan. This right here represents 4.5 trillion. It's 45 of the 100 billions. 4.5 trillion, which is the amount of money that went to the top tier in the last round of tax breaks. You can look it up yourself. It is a deficit that will be created. The shortfall, the CBO just scored it one more time, and this doesn't even include the corporate tax cuts. This right here is $50 billion, which is the amount of money that has been saved so far by Doge and the Trump administration. Everything from slashing departments, mass firings, removing certain privileges, defunding certain things, and all they could come up with was 50 billion bucks. And I got to tell you, this is what makes me crazy. It certainly does look like the richest people in the world are telling us we can't afford anything because of this. It's been going on for 20 years. I try to point it out, and people are like, no, Sully. Well, you can't be given sex changes in school. I'm like, I'm with you on all this. But this pyramid keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And every time I try to bring this up, you go back to this. It is the equivalent of having a $4,500 a month drug problem and you wanting to start with canceling your Starbucks of $8. It's not a sustainable model. And although that you may be firmly entrenched in your beliefs, it is a scam. It's the largest scam in history. And the numbers show it. Stop with your media. Look at the numbers. We have created people. We now have the richest people in human history. Human history. It's never worked out good. Richer than Ramses the Great. Richer than Herod the Great. Richer than Attila the Hun. More wealth than Xerxes, the king of Persia. These things don't help the American people. And they are about to have a second round of tax cuts while, again, pointing over here. The reason why we can't do this is because of this. It's the immigrants. It's Ukraine. It's fur babies. It's LGBTQ. It's DEI. Anything to get you riled up so you don't look at the fact that they're ripping us off. Hopefully you can see as you got somebody who's always like, hey, get your hand out of the cookie jar when other people are too busy over there watching the magic trick. Hopefully you learned something. Remember, I'm rooting for you. Have a great day.
It's all fake anyways.
Welcome to my classroom. Hope you're having a good day.
I honestly don't think that people can visualize any of this. I don't think they know how to visualize it. I don't think they can. Like how much money?
Don't cost you anything if you buy domestic.
This is a lie as well. I'm sure this guy's probably refuting it, I would hope. But how many raw materials had to be imported? We can't build everything. I know people want to bring every fucking job that's ever existed to America. We can't. We can't. If I give you 100 people to build a house, you're not going to have some people start a quarry and some people start a fucking lumber mill and fucking some people, start mining quartz and some people start casting porcelain toilets. You're going to buy those things and you're going to build a house. We can't build everything. We can't make everything. We have to import at some point, and it affects you and the things you buy.
I see countless people saying this. Yeah. You remember during the first Trump administration when he placed tariffs on Canadian lumber and it was only the Canadian lumber that went up in price? All you had to do is go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or your local lumber yard and tell them you wanted that good old American lumber. And you didn't have to pay those high lumber prices. And if you were buying a home, you just needed to buy a home that was made of American lumber. And you'd get that American lumber price and the home price didn't go up. Do you remember that? Do you remember how, as a result of the Trump lumber tariffs, the American lumber industry exploded, and in just a few years, America no longer needed any of that Canadian lumber? The American lumber industry had been made great again, and lumber was affordable, and housing prices went down. You remember all that? Well, nobody else remembers it either, because it didn't happen, you dumb fuck red hat morons. When you place a tariff on a Mexican tomato, the price of all tomatoes goes up. You go down to the burger joint and tell them you want an American burger with American-grown lettuce and tomato and onion and American beef. And you want to pay that American price, no tariff pricing. How well do you think that's going to work out for you? Or do you think they're going to stand there and stare at you like the brain-dead, inbred, dumb fuck that you are? I know when you're sitting around the dinner table with your uncle, daddy, and your cousin brothers, you sound real smart saying just buy American and you won't have to pay those tariffs. Big Daddy Trump told me so. And then you open yourself a can of cold Bud Light because the price of that American beer isn't going up, except now it's going to cost more. And why would that be? Because the aluminum the can is made out of is being tariffed, and more than half of the price of your beer is the cost of the can and not the beer. If you think America can just start making its own aluminum, you're wrong, but you should be used to that. America cannot make its own aluminum, and it never will be able to, not ever. That's because America has no significant deposit.
Exactly. It goes back in, especially like, I think it was Alabama. When we're talking about research studies, the University of Alabama is the biggest employer in Alabama.
Deposits of bauxite, the ore which aluminum is made from. If you're going to escape tariffs, you're going to have to put down that Bud Light, tell your mama's grandpa daddy to fire up the still, and get to drinking moonshine. And don't be buying any grain. You're going to need to grow that yourself because the price of grain is going up. Too much of that is imported. So while you and your cousin brothers are digging around through the barn trying to find the parts to Grandpa Daddy's still, maybe you and the rest of you dumb fucks could figure out why Trump said he loves the poorly educated. Could it be because you and the rest of the red hat dumb fucks swallow all the bullshit he feeds you without even stopping to chew? The only purpose for tariff
My 2 cents _ Einer, E-I-N-E-R, Einer, like wiener, but an underscore instead of the W,
is to create a new revenue stream so that Trump can give his billionaire buddies tax cuts. That's it. To make dumb fucks like you pay more of the bill so his wealthy oligarch friends don't have to. The fact is, the Trump administration and the Congressional Budget Committee are banking on the continued import of those goods.
I can probably do this.
To gather the tariffs. Maybe if your brain wasn't so fucked up, you'd pay attention.
Here it is.
When Trump talks about the billions of dollars he plans on bringing in through tariffs. How could that happen if the plan was for America to no longer import all those goods? It couldn't. The plan is to make low IQ dumb fuck shit for brains that wear red hats foot more of the bill. And you low IQ red hat dumb fucks are gonna like it. Just so long as you think you're owning the libs. The only one being owned is you that swallow his bullshit. He owns your ass like he was your Sunday school teacher. But you like it. You know tariffs don't cost you anything.
This is a pretty good one. Remember I called out Trump lying about Honda. They're not building a new plant. They planned a bunch of investments under Joe Biden, and they plan to potentially build a hybrid in 2028 that's coming out of an already existing plant. Well, Honda did a press release about it. So that's this.
Honda just called out Donald Trump for lying about them building a new plant, and they also credited President Biden for their recent investments. Now, if you remember, during Donald Trump's joint address to Congress, he had this to say about Honda.
With Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
Except one problem. Honda had to put out a statement saying this, quote, while Honda did not announce plans for a new plant in the U.S.
Honda did not announce plans for a new plant in the U.S.
At this time, we have invested over $3 billion in advanced vehicle manufacturing in America in just the past 3 years. With a
past 3 years? How long has Trump been in office? What?
Cumulative total of $24 billion. Yeah, the last 3 years when President Biden was in office. Donald Trump is tanking the economy, and he's trying to make up lies about what's not happening in America to try to cover his tracks. Good on Honda to call him out, to come out and say this isn't happening. What he's saying is flat out not true. And why shouldn't they? Why should the people of Indiana get excited about something that's not going to happen? Good job.
So they had to clear this up because they've already got a plant there. There were probably workers and the mayor of the town and all the people were like, what? They're building a new plant here. It'd been nice if they would have fucking told us, right? What is this one? This one just says Doge is lying to you. Damn it, move.
Own fraud. Doge comes through federal agencies in an attempt to save taxpayers' money. The EPA discovered its own fraud. $20 billion sitting in a parked car outside a financial institution. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin has demanded those funds be returned so they don't go to waste.
This is what's being reported on Fox News. $20 billion in cash was found in a car parked outside the EPA.
You think $20 billion in cash? You think $20 billion in cash? $1 billion fits on 10 pallets.
Now, I know words are hard for MAGA, so I'm going to break it down to pictures, okay? This is what $100 million looks like on a pallet next to a grown man. 10 of these equal 1 billion. So that would mean you would need 200 pallets of money to equal 20 billion. I call bullshit. Show me a car that can hold 200 pallets of money this size. Go ahead, MAGA. Show me the car. Show me the car, MAGA. It doesn't exist. How is Fox News allowed to spread this freaking BS? How? and they call everybody else fake news.
Anybody should have been able to catch this, right?
Are you kidding me? I'm about to lose my nerve. Oh my God. Idiots. It's right in front of you. You're being lied to. You're being lied to. Stop the nonsense.
It says, needless to say, Zeldin did not come across piles of cash sitting in a vehicle outside of a bank, as it appears that Roberts misinterpreted a report about the EPA chief attempting to rescind grants awarded by the Biden administration aimed at a clean energy project. How do you misinterpret? Biden's EPA issued $20 billion in green grants. Now Trump's administration wants that money back. I don't think any of this is legal. When the government already issued it, unless you've committed fraud in some way, right? Like if you lie about your taxes and they overpay you, or if you get food stamps or Social Security or something and they overpay you, they can take it back. They usually take it back at like income tax or whatever. Next time you owe them money, they could also take you to court, and they could probably just jerk it out of your bank account if they wanted to. But grants that have been funded and you haven't violated any of the terms, and a major reversal, the new head of the Environmental Protection Agency said he will try to rescind $20 billion in grants awarded by the Biden administration for climate and clean energy. Oh, I'm sorry. Why the fuck is it skipping around like that? For climate and clean energy products. In a video posted to X, Administrator Lee Zeldin said the EPA would revoke contracts for still emerging Green Bank that is set to fund tens of thousands of projects to fight climate change and promote environmental justice. The program, approved under the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, is formerly known as the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, but is more commonly called the Green Bank. Two initiatives worth $14 billion and $6 billion, respectively, are intended to offer competitive grants to nonprofits, community development banks, and other groups for projects with a focus on disadvantaged communities. The program is a favorite of Democrats who passed President Joe Biden's signature climate law without a single Republican vote, and former EPA Administrator Michael Reagan frequently cited it as one of his major accomplishments. Republicans in Congress have called the Green Bank a slush fund and voiced concern over how the money will be used and whether there will be sufficient accountability and transparency. The Republicans-controlled House approved the bill last year to repeal the Green Bank and other parts of Biden's climate agenda. The bill's blocked in Democratic-controlled Senate. Zeldin, in a video posted Wednesday night, said there will be zero tolerance for any waste and abuse. The EPA, under his administration, he cited an extremely disturbing video on X that features the former EPA staffer stating that the Biden administration was tossing gold bars off the Titanic in order to spend billions of taxpayer dollars before President Donald Trump took office. The day of irresponsible shoveling buttloads of cash to far-left activist groups in the name of environmental justice and climate equity are over, Zeldin said. Don't you want a guy that doesn't give a fuck about the climate as head of the EPA? Now, I've directed my team to find our gold bars, and they found them. Now we will get them back inside of control of the government as we pursue next steps. The video Zeldin cited was posted by Project Veritas, a right-wing organization that often uses hidden cameras to try to embarrass news outlets, labor organizations, Democratic officials. In this case, the Veritas video showed Brent Efron, a former EPA special advisor for implementation, speaking at a bar or restaurant with someone who turned out to be with the group. Efron has since left the EPA. Clean energy advocates denounced Zeldin's action as a political stunt and said he was illegally attempting to revoke spending approved by Congress for partisan reasons. They pledged to challenge the directive in court. Yeah, once Congress sends it out, there's not much anybody can do about it. It's not an executive action. Obviously, executive actions can be changed by executive actions. It's not just an attack on clean energy investments. It's a blatant violation of the Constitution. Executive Director of Evergreen Action Environmental Group that supports the Green Bank. The Trump team is once again trying to illegally slash programs meant to help American families to fund tax cuts by billionaires. The money has already been awarded to 8 nonprofits, including the Coalition for Green Capital, Climate United Fund, Power Forward Communities, Opportunity Finance Network, Inclusive, and the Justice Climate Fund. Those organizations have partnered with a range of groups, including Rewiring America, Habitat for Humanity, and other Community Preservation Corporation. Former Vice President Kamala Harris announced the grant awards last year at an event in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the end of it. 8 nonprofits already awarded the grants. EPA awards $20 billion in Green Bank grants for clean energy projects nationwide. 8 communities, developed banks, nonprofit organizations use the projects on combating climate change and disadvantaged communities, helping Americans. The money could fund tens of thousands of eligible projects ranging from residential heat pumps, other energy-efficient home improvements, to large-scale projects such as electric vehicle charging stations and community cooling centers. We have the capacity with this approach to empower communities to decide which project they want that will have the greatest impact on their perspective in the place they call home. It was Harris Ford's trip to the battleground state this year. This is North Carolina. That narrowly lost Republican Donald Trump in the last presidential election. In a local radio interview conducted before a trip, Harris said North Carolina will really determine the outcome of who will occupy the White House for the next 4 years. And this election, we've got everything on the line. The Green Bank that oversees the grants announced Thursday was created by Biden's a landmark climate law, the Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed by Congress in 2022. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Under the Inflation Reduction Act, that is a law passed by Congress. Formerly known as the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, the $27 billion bank is one of many federal efforts to invest in solutions that cut planet-warming greenhouse gas emissions and address human-caused climate change, a topic President Joe Biden has emphasized in his presidency and Democratic re-election campaign. The bank's goals are to reduce climate and air pollution and mobilize public and private capital in the communities that need it most. Project Veritas had some guy that said Biden was throwing gold bars off the Titanic. I've never said that. It's part of the Inflation Reduction Act. I don't think I can use that one. I've got a new project. Some of you guys. No, they can't. Literally, they can't. Congress appropriates the money sent out. It's already been awarded. They can't claw it back. Would you guys be interested in this new program? It's experimental at this time, but I think I know the woman who runs it. Her name is Methany. I think I can get you in.
So how many men up here want to get pregnant? So how many men up here want to get pregnant? Because my husband ain't going to like the way I have to do it. Okay? I have to take a laku to kapo.
So it starts off with how many men up here want to get pregnant? Because she thinks she's got a way that she can do it.
How many men up here want to get pregnant? Because my husband ain't going to like the way I have to do it. Okay? I have to take a
Her husband's not going to like what she has to do. She needs to do it. We can get men pregnant, but her husband's not going to like it.
laku to kapo kipoto, which is tokoloku.
She's also invented a new language.
Kaniti, which is the man part, to kaboto, men and women both have. The back part.
Buttholes. Penises in buttholes.
Goes to the back, into the inside, and hits the kotokala right in the back to make them pregnant. Men can get pregnant.
Back shot makes you pregnant.
With this technique. So I could do this, test it out with two guys. I'll test it with if they'd like me to do this technique. I will tell them specifically how to do it. I will have to move, of course, their ovaries over to their section, which I've already done it to my husband. It's not that bad, but I have to hit a lot of chi points in your body.
She's already activated her husband's ovaries. It's not that bad.
Open up your eggs. And so to make it easier, I would do it to where if both men want to try it, I would explain to them how to take care of the pregnancies because, see, the babies in men can only be to a certain size. And I got to set up their hormones because I got to set both men up with hormones if they both want to get pregnant because it's a little bit easier. So we have the 99% chance of getting one of them pregnant.
It's a 99% chance that at least one of them is going to get pregnant. But the baby can only be in there so long. It can't go like full term.
And then they'll have to watch their weight and how they eat, their diet, and everything. And basically, it makes it easier because it's going to have to take rotokulati. Basically, men intercourse. So basically, men intercourse is a thing he doesn't really do. If he does, that's the only way he would get pregnant. And I only want to try this one time because it'll make you have a period, which is a woman.
Oh, shit.
Women have periods, men don't, only because that's otakala spot, which I'm going to hit and open up in each man. And I'm only going to do this once because I have to also do the potialati technique, which hits the bottom of your foot up straight in a couple of chi points to make it where the period will only last 1 month. I have to see you within a month or less to turn that off because you'll get a period and it's going to...
While you're pregnant?
Smash up all the period because I can lower the period blood to where it's a lower blood flow and it smooths out quicker so it won't hurt your kitala toy. So let me know if you guys want me to do this test on you because I have to do physical chi points in order to get to your kalata kapois. Pititata. So basically my husband's not going to work. It has to be 2 guys who are interested in having kids, or any guys, really. I could do it to any guy. It's up to them. If they want kids themselves, like if a man wants a kid, let me know, because we're doing this as a species check to see if we can do this. Now, I'm going to have to set you up with the Kalatikapo Kumotialata, which is demons and hell, basically. I'm going to advise you because they have to bring the children up to you to get you pregnant with. And they're going to choose, sapotas. They're going to have to know you're sapotas, meaning women to them. They call
Makes
them
sense.
women, but you're actually men. They're going to know that you're okay with them because they have to be komotos. Got it. They got the idea. So they'll understand which ones will work because they know some men out there want children. And we know 5,555 billion of you men out in the world want kids and would love to be the first man on earth to have kids in years. Because they did this 17,000 years ago. Men were getting pregnant before women were born. Women got born when the zapatas got separated. The Kipatogolos, see, they separated, making men and women. At first, they were called patias, which is man and woman in one. People didn't know that for years until they found a body that was in France and Italy and America, all having just one part. And they were wondering why there was only one part till they found out that and this is spiritual too. Yeah, they found out they only had one part and they wondered why. That's because Kitolapoi was not born. Kitolapoi is what separated their genders, making a man and a woman instead of
That does make sense. Now that I think about it.
creating kapatakalas. And now we got kapatakalas, mokiatas, and yokiatas, which are male, female, male, and female. Basically. Dolatikapo.
I think it's meth.
She understands well. So we got all the knowledge that we need to create children in society. We're doing it scientifically with chi mastery skills, which she has the highest chi mastery in the world. And she's a girl. She could chi master anyone with any body part of any knowledge they need to know about a body. If there's any tricks anybody out there needs to know about chi mastery, this is a girl to ask. She knows anything about a body, how to make something happen in your body just by touch, lick, and everything else. She just knows everything. Like, she can just read your body and she'll just be like, I know this. She just got to know what you want to know.
There you go. The eyes have it. What is this? Older millennial.
Y'all Democrats realize Casey Anthony belongs to you, right? See, here's the thing. Y'all have no problem killing the unborn. So Casey Anthony is all yours. Y'all just don't realize it yet. You're no different than she is. You do realize you live in America. No, I'm not the older millennial.
That's a pretty good impression. You do realize. That's how he always starts off. You do understand that. You do really. You guys want to see more of Methany? Death Angels Shop is her channel name. Here she is as a ninja.
Damn, I'm so hot, can't touch.
Oh, I can't do it because of music. All right, here we go.
Go in to show you guys the dragon one real quick so you guys can understand why
Thank you for the gifted sub.
I wanted it so much, even though it's really small. See, it's got a dragon on front of it. It's pretty cool. But it's kind of small. It's got a phoenix on the other side. And the cups have this
That's a lot of words to say. She wants to watch someone raw dog her man.
design. Like
Yeah. Whoa. What just wandered through in the background? Is that her old man? No, that's a woman.
and it's dragon on these as well. But they're so small. See? Compared to that, it's pretty small.
I needed that. It was not like seeing it in your hand gave me a reference for size. I literally needed you to put it in your ear. Now I know how big it is. Makes sense. I can't believe when we were doing like Trump adjacent content. Well, when I wasn't actively fucking out against Trump because he's a fucking retard, we used to regularly average between 350 and 500 subscribers every month. And now we're lucky in a month to get about 100. Usually it's around 50, 70, somewhere around there. That's insane.
Yeah, I got this thing too.
Oh my God. Lingerie.
Like it, but
Thank God.
size.
I was just waiting on this.
If anybody's interested, let me know. I can't fit.
Are you selling this on TikTok? Just like out of your house.
If anybody's interested, let me know. I can't fit.
0 comments.
I just-
0 likes.
I know that thing's worth like 50, 60 bucks for the size it is. It's really nice too. It'll look good on someone. So ladies, if you like that, let me know.
I wonder where she stole that from.
The price is worth out of it. I know it's worth like 50 bucks, but actually it's worth more than that because that's an extra large. So you know that costs more than that. That thing's usually 255 bucks for that to 300 for this particular type. It's an antique one.
She just said it was worth 50 bucks. 60 bucks, whatever she said. Then she said, actually, it's an extra large. That's probably $250, $300. Because it's an extra large? You think it's an extra $200 in material?
It's more than that. That thing's usually 255 bucks for that to 300. I know it's worth like 50 bucks, but actually it's worth more than that because that's an extra
50 bucks.
large. So you know that costs more than that. That thing's usually 255 bucks for that to 300
$255 to $300.
for this particular type. It's an antique one too. So
And it's an antique. You know there you got it. They're banking tree.
finding that is going to be hard. So yes, let me know if you're interested, ladies. It's got this on the back.
Trump wears a corset.
Definitely love that. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I got in this bag. Pretty sure I probably showed some of the stuff, but this, I don't think I showed anything in this bag.
I don't know what her hauls are. I want more.
Show you a review on the stuff I got. It's from a website called Temu, and
somebody called it. Demeter Dixon.
they're pretty sure these things are almost sold out, so they're going to be a one-of-a-kind soon. They're really cool looking, but
_Atsuko just resubscribed for 34 months. And FJD Vance.
They're almost sold out, so they're gonna be, that's limited. Hard to get. They're almost sold out. Fuck JD Vance and fuck JD Vance. Thank you very much.
They're very small. So I got this one here. It makes it look really big in the picture, right? But
Gonna be rare now.
you see it. I opened it a minute ago. I looked at it. It looked too small.
The first Louis Vuitton.
So this tea set comes with a plate.
Why is she buying tea sets off Temu?
This.
Sounds like a way to get lead poisoning.
Just using the batteries again.
Is this all she does?
I'm just gonna let you guys know that, for one, whoever wants to get pregnant, let me know, because I do send out get pregnants a lot. I usually.
She does remote pregnancies. I think's what she just said. She called them send out get pregnants, but she does remote pregnancies. Hold on.
Okay, everyone. I'm just gonna let you guys know that, for one, whoever wants to get pregnant, let me know, because I do send out get pregnants a lot. I usually set up spirits to the correct terminology, though, to make sure that they get to the right person that works for them.
The last time I sent out remote pregnancies, I got a bunch of complaints about why is this postcard so sticky?
Because usually spirits prefer to
People don't appreciate nothing.
with the same family members, but sometimes they can't, so it's understanding.
That don't make no sense. The heater's on.
Her mom in the back. That don't make no sense.
Okay.
That don't make no sense. The heater's on.
The heater's on the heater's at the pawn shop, and all the wiring's missing.
So I seanced the people back to their bodies. It was like 1,200 of them total. I seanced maybe 20 of them, and I got
She seanced. It's a verb. She seanced them.
Back to their bodies. I'm going to be teleporting some more because I speak in hindrance language, which is another language that most of you guys don't know of. And I'm able to teleport the bodies back to their spirit bodies because their spirits are around the building and stuff. They're not in their bodies. So they teleported themselves out of their bodies and don't know how to get back.
Okay.
So I tell them exactly how to go back, and they go back to their bodies. So they're going to wake up. All well-known demons from hell.
If you just woke up in your body, please let me know in the chat.
Watch this. 3, 2, 1. Hoka, naka, tika.
Package.
Tumatakala. Oh. Time to go back to your bodies.
I need to know in chat if you just woke up in your body.
See, sometimes spirits leave their bodies totally when they're brain dead because they're not connected to their brain. See, it's going to hurt them when he gets there for a second, but I already told him how to do it without hurting themselves. It's a quick teleportation. It's like when you're asleep for too long. You tend to move your spirit around. So basically, you're either stuck to your body or you're not. And a lot of them are not stuck to their body, and they're going back to their bodies now. And I'm going to be so many of them that's going to freak the hospital out that they're all going to wake up at once. If I do kutoboto kapatakala kiapatakalati and yapotokoloto koboto kiapata lachadaba. Now watch this. I'm going to say somi kipa tukara. All the ones are going back and they know exactly where their bodies are and seance back to their bodies. They're going to be welcome back to their homeland. That's if they want to. They make the choice while they're there. They're like, do I want to go back to my body? Oh, wait. I like the spirit world. It's so much peaceful. It's more peaceful than this world. But then they think about it and they got loved ones waiting at the hospital. They're like, oh, yeah. I got loved ones. I can go back to my loved ones. They're sweethearts and stuff. They love me. They do love me. I just say that they hate me. That's how it goes. And they go back. So, you're going to freak out when you see so many spirits going back to their body, waiting for their loved ones to find out what happened. And they're all going to be like, what? So, since they keep coming to my address to cleanse and be brought back.
What the fuck is this creepy picture up here? Hold on. Ooh, that is creepy. Like one of those old creepy pictures where they don't look fucking real, and like this person's like 9 foot tall, and this is a fucking dwarf in like the shoes with the buckles, like the pilgrims had. That's a creepy looking picture, dude.
Back to life. They'll be like, we've been watching this bitch just sit here speaking Spanish and I don't even know what she said. And they're like,
That's right, Rochelle.
oh, what is she doing here? Why are we here? Is probably the more question.
Why am here?
They're like, wait, but we're in a human's house, basically. Yeah, they come into a human's house and they don't know where they're going or what they're doing. And then they find out she's the timekeeper.
They come into a human's house. What are they? I thought they were human spirits.
Like, what's a timekeeper? I keep time frames for all of you dead ones and living ones and everyone else. It's just, I'm hoping you go back to your body, because then I can say I brought you back to life. This is life. Life. Nah, we're waiting 15 minutes. All the spirits that are ready to go back will go back in 15 minutes. It takes about 15 minutes because they got to catch buses back to their body. They know how to get back to it. Without even doing that, they can fly there. That's how quick it is. So they're going to wake up. Each one's going to ask me questions of how to bring them back if there's a problem. Like right now, Latoy Bota just needs to tap this spot 3 times. And
I can't believe it's free. I can't believe this app, that the ability to watch these people in their homes. I can't believe this is free. If someone figured out how to effectively charge for it before it was all free, it's like porn, right? Like it's all free now, so most people don't pay for it. But if they'd have got ahead of this, god damn.
3 times. And Noeta here 3 times. And Volkara right here 3 times. And Nicola Vota 3 times. Yep, he locked that code in. You guys have been sitting here for how many days again now? 20 weeks or something? How do you guys come back here over and over and not know who you are? Yeah, I think they know who they are. They're just playing tricks. Some of them are female, some of them are male. They'll find out when they get back to their body, though, because they forgot who they were the whole time.
Makes sense.
They were just dreaming, is what they'll think. They'll think that they were dreaming until the day they see me again, and they'll be like, this was not a dream. It was real. It freaking freaked me out. What?
She's the timekeeper.
And then they find out about all the demon stuff, the witchy witch stuff, and then the spellcastings. They're like, we saw that. Shoot, that girl's talented. All that shit. They're going to be freaking out in their heads, wondering who I am. And they're like,
I'm already wondering who you are.
what? While we were like that, I remember. Some of those things are freaking weird. The human's mind.
By the way, Bert spent half of his show explaining daylight savings time backwards. Like he found one clip of one news agency, like a weird right side broadcasting news, something or another, that he says daylight saving time is the winter time, right, where we fall back. Daylight savings time is the springtime. When we go forward, we have an extra day at the end of the day. And the way you can tell this, he claims that because like Arizona doesn't follow daylight savings time, so they're always forward of like Las Vegas in the winter. So that's standard time. But that's just not true. It's not true. So the very first time, all you have to do is look up the very first time it was put into effect we did the spring forward. And it was canceled a couple times. Then we did it again. Then it's canceled a couple times. Did it in World War II. It was canceled a couple times. He spent half the show saying that daylight savings time is the winter time where it gets darker earlier, and arguing with everybody. He's still got a post on his page about it.
One of these physical ones. And when you think about it, like, this is spirit world. However, she's still physical and doing spirit world stuff. They're like, well, we're doing it because we are spirits, but you doing it makes us kind of freak out. Because I'm a living being able to tap into the spirit world. With help, of course. So much help. Time for you guys to go back to your...
I want to interview this lady.
There's a trick.
Okay, so I'm gonna try a trick on here where you get try to make $1 million in 10 days. I want to see if I could do this. So, if you guys can help me, if you're my fan, I want to start. Either I can sell items for a cheap price per person, and make it up to where each item I have, I'll have 1,000 items, or sorry, 1 million items, and the 1 million items I sell for $1 each, right?
Oh, that's a good way to become a millionaire. Makes sense.
So I was going to try this trick, but the thing is, I don't think I have anything that's $1 million items. I have like maybe less than 500,000 of stuff. So I was trying to do that, but if I can't do that, I'd rather just...
So daylight savings time was first implemented in the U.S. in the Standard Time Act of 1918. It was a wartime measure for only 7 months where we were trying to conserve energy, honestly. So we wanted people doing more shit in daylight hours. So we pushed it forward, right? Year-round daylight, and it was year-round. It didn't fall back spring forward. And it was called daylight savings time or wartime. And then it was used again during World War II. After the war, local jurisdictions were free to choose whether to observe it or not. And then the Uniform Time Act came out in like the, 70s or some shit. And in the 70s, permanent daylight savings time was enacted.
Say, I'm gonna use my PayPal account and make a little box for it, where if everybody can donate $1, and I want to see how many fans I can get to give me $1, and it'll add up to $500,000 or something, just to see if it can make it up to that.
That makes sense. So she's gonna buy 1 million items and sell them for $1 a piece.
Or every time you like a video, as many videos as you like, you could donate $1 for each video. That sounds cool. If I could try that. So I was gonna do.
It honestly makes sense. Let's check in on Trooper Sarah before we go. My favorite content creator, and yours too, I can tell. Trooper Sarah, hanging out in Colorado. Let's see what she's up to.
I always say the nose knows, and I think that also mostly applies to pheromones. So neurotypical women have really bad pheromones, and this really is a reflection of their inner spirit, or lack of, because they literally smell dead. They smell like they don't have a soul. They smell like how they act. So no matter what they do, what diet changes they make, how many miles on the treadmill they run, how many fab diets and not eating nutritious meals they, have to maintain in order to get that body size, they will still smell like dirty goats. Guarantee. This experiment was actually done. I actually saw it on The Bachelor. So,
okay.
The Bachelor, they lined up a whole bunch of women, and he was blindfolded, and they had all the women hold up their armpits like this, And the bachelor like went around with his blindfold, smelled all the armpits, and the one that he couldn't even stand smelling was the girl that he was physically attracted to the most. Could you believe? I can believe that. I can believe that. I mean, going into that experiment when I saw it, I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. But it's always the skinny neurotypical bitches that smell the most like death. Like, you don't want to be around that. Like, okay, it looks nice on the outside, but get to know it a little bit more deeper within, and holy shit, smells like death. Smells like death.
Neurotypical women.
I'm not allowed to be around neurotypical women anymore just because of my track record with being around them in public, especially the white neurotypical women. I tend to not really like hold back, because most neurotypical women are predators. We know this. They don't have the childhood trauma to go back on to know what the victim experience is. So therefore, they become the predator in the person who experienced childhood trauma's lives. So in other words, a man who experienced childhood trauma usually couples up with a neurotypical woman because she knows how to bash it like his daddy did. So I'm not allowed to be around any more neurotypical women just because.
I want to show you where Justin Trudeau called her. Oh my God, what the fuck was that? Okay.
All I gotta say is it is pretty embarrassing to be of Canadian heritage at this moment, or to be a Canadian citizen. It is pretty damn embarrassing.
You don't have to tell me. Born and raised in British Columbia. Like, I get it.
Given everything that has come to light about that country, I don't know how you guys are able to show your faces. I think it just has to do with the lack of intelligence and awareness you all possess, given your genetics. But for regular people, looking at you guys, I understand, like, for you guys, you know, like, because, you know, you fit in with each other, it does.
That's still not it. I want the Justin Trudeau call.
Let's finally talk about research findings to prove all Canadians have extra chromosomes that are related to the fact their parents are, in fact, immediate family members.
All Canadians inbred. All Canadians. This might be it.
I've been thinking a lot, or I have been processing.
Yes, this is it. Okay. Try to keep up with this story. Try your best. We'll catch those other ones some other times. They seem very entertaining, but.
I've been thinking a lot, or I have been processing more. I have been processing the no contact order that Trudeau broke when he decided to act as if he were my brother, when I called my brother's phone number from the government building that I was at, the government facility I was at, and used a really cheap AI generated voice to act as if he were my brother.
She called her brother and Justin Trudeau answered the phone using an AI emulated voice of her brother. But she knows it wasn't her brother because her dad raised them to be super racist.
Pattern of behavior. Nothing similar to my real brother. I've been processing this event, which that is a direct felony, that he broke the no contact order and disguised his voice using an AI generated voice of my brother's. He's Justin Trudeau. He can do this shit, right? Or he thinks he can. But the pattern of behavior says everything. Who cares? Who cares Sarah's claiming that she's using an AI generated voice? That shit doesn't matter. What matters is the context of the call. So my brother, Serena Solari, would have never said the things that he said over the phone when I spoke to him on the 4th of this month, or supposedly spoke to him on the 4th of this month after not having contacted him for months since the beginning of November. My brother decided that it was his priority to bring up transphobia and xenophobia as part of a conversation for the first time, as part of a conversation we were having over not having spoken to each other in months. He decided to bring up transphobia and xenophobia. My brother, a licensed paramedic who was raised by the same parents that I was raised by. I was raised in an adoptive family. My adoptive father, who has passed on, bless his soul, I know that he went to some type of dimension of heaven because I truly believe that he did. I truly believe that God forgave him before he passed on because he did have light in his eyes. He did have light in his eyes. He did focus on things other than his private parts. He didn't cheat on my cheating mom. So I know for a fact that my brother has the same type of thought processes when it comes to trans people and Muslims, because my adoptive father was actually pretty racist against his own people. He raised us to be very fearful of Muslims and of trans people and of gay people. He instilled this in us since a very young age, to the point where we would make fun of each other for having some of those qualities or exhibiting some of the qualities that that kind of person would have, to the point where we would just we literally like made fun of each other to the point where it would be impossible for us to adopt any of those qualities ourselves as adults. Never mind what my dad instilled in us. It was just the siblings amongst each other that would make fun of each other. Every time like one little thing that would come up that would be reminiscent of someone who would be like trans, Muslim, gay, we would just hone in on that with that quality of that person, because we knew that that would be the best, easiest way to break that person. And for whatever demented reason, us siblings found a lot of humorous relief in making fun of each other over the qualities that we most feared one day possessing. That was like our best comedic relief as children. I know that sounds very demented, but that's just what growing up in an autistic household entails, is that you really make fun of each other for the really like vulnerable like parts in each other that you know show some type of insecurity. That's how you know you can get to the other person mentally. It's not about physical violence is for dumbasses. So psychological warfare is for smart people, and siblings start doing this at a young age, especially if they're growing up in a hodgepodge type of household, especially if they don't have a good mom. They end up teaming together and basically being like a mutant version of the smarter adult that they are able to hold on, I have to.
Oh, she's gonna miss her bus.
My bus. Hopefully this bus doesn't leave me. Is this bus going to Loveland? Okay, thank you.
But my dad's racist pattern of behavior alongside his family, leaving his country of origin simply because the Muslims decided to fucking take over land of Jews. I mean, I don't know if you know about the history of where the Jewish people originated from, but it has something to do with the Persian Empire, let me tell you. Put that in addition with my family literally having to escape the country because my grandfather was high-ranking military and he didn't want for his whole family to be kidnapped. So he decided
She sleeps at Dr. J's house.
to take it upon himself and move his whole entire family with probably the millions of dollars he had in his bank account, relocate them over to SF Bay Area. Put those two things together, Justin Trudeau's trying to rewrite my fucking family history, my adoptive family history. That's how fucking dumb this man is. That's how fucking... Go back! Talk to my fucking family member, my adoptive family. This fucking crazy, paranoid, schizophrenic dude who literally is working with Muslims in order to get the Nepo money over to the Muslim terrorist organization so they can continue hurting innocent lives. Stop listening to that fucking retard and actually do your fucking research right, please.
I think what pisses me off most about Nepo...
Everybody following so far?
Spreading Nepo rumors is that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They just absorb like hearsay from, you know, this person that is telling them, hey, if you believe this might help you out in the long run. If you spread this lie about this person, it might help you in the long run. And then they just run with that without doing the actual qualitative, quantitative research themselves. And it shows all over their eyeballs. Because when you look at any of these Nepos in the face and like eye to eye, they can't look at you. I mean, I'm autistic and I can have eye contact. These Nepos cannot have eye... Like, it's just like, what are you on? You on that Nepo, aren't you? Because they don't know fact from fiction. Delusional thought patterns have eaten them up alive to the point where logic is not even something that they even know anything about. I mean, Justin Trudeau is a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. If people are believing a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic's rumors, taking them as truth, what do you think that makes them? Just as delusional. Just as delusional, especially considering that they didn't do their own fucking research before believing a lie as truth. It shows you how delusional they are, how much IQ, intellectual IQ level they lack, and how easy it is for them to be influenced to do anything. Anything. Probably due to the fact that they all have extra chromosomes, but that's a conversation for a later time.
There you go. I hope you kept up with it because that's her latest update. All right, guys. I didn't realize it was 3 a.m. My schedule's all fucked up, but I'm out of here for the night. If you want to support the show, do it at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, where you can make a donation to the show. Any of the donation links, there's Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, all that shit. I'm trying to get back on schedule. Mariah's grandpa is having heart surgery at some point, so we'll be working around that. Plus, I got a couple things to do for the charity coming in to help us rebuild. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me. This one ran kind of late, but I started kind of late. So you guys have a good night. See you about the next one. We're going to be covering Bert probably in the next couple of days to get through his crazy, delusional fucking calling everybody out and then on a rant about daylight savings time. But either way, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here, hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good night. Check out coldbeer.fund and see you guys.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott. Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well listen bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord and to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cock and begging.
Yeah, banks get harassed for that type of stuff.
Fool in a thong, he's strapped to the shaft eating
Dong, dinar, Zimbabwe dollars, all that shit.
Make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set.
Good night, guys. I guess good morning. Fuck, it's 3:10 a.m. on the East Coast.
Started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place
I need to fix my schedule somehow.
set. You better
See you guys.
up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to